Hi, gamers. I was not planning to stream today. However, because I had somewhere to be earlier. But I'm here. We didn't get to react too much on Friday, so I figured today I can stream for a little bit. I probably won't be streaming for too long, but I wanna hang out. But hi, happy. What is today? Sunday. Yippee! Yeah, Sunday. It's Sunday. Happy Sunday, shipwrecks. Hello. This was not a planned stream. This was a total guerrilla stream. Hi everybody. Week-long sale on gift subs, by the way. Yippee! Also, thank you. I don't know who it was. It was anonymous who gifted 5 subs. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you. I am also running a June special today, chat. Or June special today. June special this month. If you gift 20 subs at the end of the month, I will be, or I won't be shipping it. I'll be shipping it to someone else, but I already have that set up. But you'll be receiving a signed Poseidon Pokemon card, just like the one you see on my screen. It'll be signed, and it'll be super duper fun. So if you would like a signed Poseidon Pokemon card, it'll be 20 gifted subs or memberships. If you're on the red site, I will count those as well. So yeah. All at a little by little. We can do little by little. I think I have a mod keeping track, but if it's 20 subs by the end of the month, that is 20 gifted. That will count. Yes. Hi, Sunny Pop Tarts. Hello, welcome in. But yeah, I'm excited today. I really wanted to hang out with you guys. I actually have somewhere I need to be tonight. Mother Rhea is taking me out, but she won't be. She's busy until later. So I was kind of like, I'll kill some time. Let's do some streaming, hanging out with the best community ever, the shipwrecks. I missed you guys a lot yesterday. I was not home most of the day. I was actually out with friends. We did like a little pool party at my friend's house, and it was a lot of fun. I had a great time. So, but I missed you guys, so I wanted to hang out. It's funny because I'm actually streaming tomorrow, so it wasn't like I wasn't gonna see you guys. It was just I just wanted to hang out. Did you see the new Game Freak game? Which one? Coco, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome in, gamer. Pool party checks out. I almost drowned. That wasn't a joke, by the way. I don't want to say I was drowned, but it's so funny. I'm the goddess of the seas. We were horse playing. Does that get it? Because I'm also the god of horses. Ha! Getting rowdy in the pool, and my friend pushed me down in the water, and I wasn't expecting it, and I was choking on water for a little bit. It was great. And it's so funny because my friends were also saying, like, aren't you the water goddess? Aren't you the water goddess? You almost died? Haha. I'm like, fuck you guys. Fuck you guys. I mean, it's the one that was announced. Was it the little, like, the Persona 4 remake? I don't know. I've never played Persona before. And honestly, the only reason why I haven't touched... I actually have Persona 5 Royale. Someone gifted it to me last year on Throne. But I haven't touched it yet. Because I was told if I touch that game, I will not get off of it. So I haven't touched it yet. And I was told it takes like an average at least over 100 hours to finish the game. But I haven't done that. Right now I'm playing Breath of the Wild and Cookie Run Kingdom. Those are like the only two games I've been playing, honestly. I say this Persona fan. Whoa! Naxon, thank you for the 20 gifted. Thank you. Holy shit. Thank you so much. Akaba, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome in. The Game Freak is making a non-Pokemon game on Xbox and PlayStation. That's so sick. What? Really? Am I crazy? Yes, I am. It's okay. If you're crazy, this means you're in the right place. Called Beast of Reincarnation. I've never heard of that. I'll have to look into it later. I'll be really honest, I'm not too familiar with Game Freak games outside of Pokemon. Because I'm brain rot, chat. I'm brain rot. Speaking of Pokemon, that's what we're going to be reacting to today. Some Pokemon videos. Maybe I might throw like a cool VTuber video in there somewhere. I did not plan today's stream. So this is one of those fuck it, we ball streams. So whatever happens, happens, chat. Whatever happens. This is just a very regular thing for me, just not knowing what the fuck I'm gonna do. You really want that autograph? Yeah, I'll probably also write usernames and stuff I have to get that form set up. I have yet to do it. I actually was not at my PC at all yesterday. I came home from the pool party I went to and I passed the fuck out. I was out like a light. for a while. My voice also like hurts a little bit today. I don't know what's going on. It might be from just all the activity from the last few days, but please bear with me. Wait, have you seen Dracula Flo describing Pokemon? I have not. I have not. Helloing sign chat. Hi, Master of Laughs. Welcome in. Welcome in. But yeah, we'll be holding that special for the rest of the month, by the way. So if it's not today, you guys have until the end of the month. I don't know if I'm gonna put it into next month as well, but it might be just like a once per month type of redeem. So we'll see. I'm looking maybe into getting another card done by a different like artist, like different art. I think that'd be super cool, and it's just like be like a little collectible Poseidon card. The summer he's giving me a headache, so thank you for streaming. Your streams make me happy. Aw, thank you. No, yeah, the summer hate is a bitch. It's a bitch. I hate it. That's why I'm inside most of the summer. It's so weird because I'm actually inside most of the summer, and then I'm always out when it's winter time. Whoa! We started a hype train! The hype train didn't visit us last stream, so we'll see how far we can get the hype train this stream. Hi, Fridge. There's the hype train delay. It's been ages since I managed to catch a meeting over the stream. Time doesn't suck. Dude, it does. It does. I'm gonna be kind of... So I used to stream at like a very specific time, and now it's gonna be like all over the place because I'm so busy. It's insane. You'd think that because summer vacation came around... quote unquote vacation, it's not really a vacation for me, that I would have more free time, but that's actually, I think, the opposite. I think this is a very busy time of year for a lot of people, including myself, so. She's on Dugtrio and Silvally now? No! Dugtrio was just a meme deck! I'm on Silvally right now. I mean, if you're playing Pokemon Pocket and you have a 17... like, out of 17 matches, you only lose 2 with the Silvally deck, and there was, like, you were playing against meta, I mean, I'm gonna stick with that, you know? I'm gonna stick with it. Oh my god, I haven't touched Pocket in forever. By forever, I mean in a few days. I haven't touched it. I've been on the Cookie Run Kingdom grind. I'm in Elite now. I'm in Elite. I've been grinding Arena in that game. I actually have a really great team, and now I'm past Master, and I'm super duper happy. Do you have the new Hollyberry yet? I did get her. And then I got Burning Spice Cookie, and then I awakened to Golden Cheese Cookie, and my Arena team has been bopping. It's been amazing. Grinding more like addiction. Exactly. I have a very addictive personality. If I find brainworms in a game, I'm gonna play the shit out of it. The cookie brain rot. Exactly. The cookie brain rot. Emma, thank you so much for the 10 gifted. Thank you. How much did you spend for it? I didn't spend anything to get Hollyberry. I just like grinded on the missions. Oh my gosh. Oh my god, I level 5 or level 7 hype train. Wait, is it level 5 or level 7? What? Emma almost about to get 2 cards. Almost 2. Level 7? Okay, my thing is telling me 5, but then my other thing is showing me 7. Dude, we're so cool. We're just a cool gal. We're cool gals. How's your day going? I'm doing good. I rested up really well last night. I'm really happy. I got a lot of rest. I had some company meetings this morning. I made lunch. I worked a little bit, and then I finished that one Netflix series. Oh god. Okay. So Voltic Charge, thank you so much for the follow. You know how when something's really bad, it's like kind of fun to watch? I've been watching, or I watched the Kakegurui Netflix series, the remake, quote unquote, and it was an interesting watch. Would I watch it again? No, but it was like so bad that it was funny. Like I enjoyed it. Not because it was actually a really well written series. But yeah. What if I gift 20 again? You get another card. It stacks. It stacks. Hi, 1978. Hello. I got gifted Yippee. Yeah! Enjoy your gifted sub. I think they're discounted today. But yeah, we are running a June special, guys. For 20 gifted subs or memberships, you will get a signed Poseidon Pokemon card sent to you. If you had gifted 20, it does stack. So theoretically, if you were to gift 10 or 100, you get 5 of them. Please submit a ticket on my Discord server. I will be getting back to all of you really soon. I just haven't gotten around to making the form yet. Yeah, 6 days left for the discount, but this will be running until the end of the month. They will be shipping sometime early July, mid-July. But yeah. Not that dumpster fire. It was like a good dumpster fire to watch. It was horrible, but I enjoyed it. It was funny. I actually love custom Pokemon card. Do you get the friend in that? I actually don't even remember. But I just looked up on Google, like, card printing, TCG card printing, and I went for, like, one of the top results. But, yeah, that's what I just Googled. I don't actually remember. Somebody else asked me, and I couldn't remember where I got it. Hello, Goku. Goku? Hello. Welcome in. But, yeah, we're gonna go watch, some videos today. I just want to yap a little bit. I use make playing cards. Heck yeah. I will say they are not foil. I wanted them foil, but I couldn't find a place that did the foils I wanted in time, because I actually printed these cards to give out to my friends at Portland Regionals, and I have like a lot of them still left. Heydo does Heydo. Thank you so much for the follow. Welcome in. Heydo does Heydo. Heydo does Heydo. No!
You just got coconut mold. Share this with all your friends to totally coconut mold them.
No! I'm on speaker mode. I saw the fair warning and I was like freaking out. Bad day to be wearing hair bugs. I'm so sorry. Go the bright side, because I did 20 subs, I can't do Ram Ranch. Thank you guys for the level 700. Thank you. Yippee. Yeah, that's what I'm doing today. I have for sure one video. My MJ TV reactions are always like
18 naked cowboys in the showers at Ram Ranch. Big herd throbbing cocks wanting to be sucked. 18 naked cowboys wanting to be fucked. Cowboys in the showers at Ram Ranch on their knees wanting to suck cowboy cocks.
Why am I hearing
Ram
double?
Ranch really
I'm hearing
rocks.
double Ram Ranch! Wait, getting double penetrated at Ram Ranch is kind of wild. Hearing all these sound bits makes me kind of nostalgic. Oh my god, I need to turn those back on. The sound. I mean, the sounders are on. You guys are just gonna have to scroll down if you're on desktop. One for each ear. Bro, what? Remember the sleeping stream? I got really horrible sleep but it was worth, I guess. I don't know if I would do any of those anytime soon. That was actually a lot for me to set up. I had to like set up a whole sleeping setup in my office. I can always wake you up with the coconut. No. Waking up to coconut mall every morning is something else. I will tell you that. All right, gamers. Do we have a video? I do have a video lined up. Okay. I'm gonna go lurk while I enjoy this and continue a manhwa. Enjoy your manhwa! Thank you so much for hanging out. Thank you, thank you. Whoa! Hasher Brown? Is that the Hasher Brown? The Hasher of Browns? Brown hashtag. Meryl sweepstakes? What is this? What do you mean Meryl sweepstakes? Hello? Thank you so much for it. I'm only giving shit because it's Hasher. Hasher, we're actually going to stream this week. We're collabing this week. We're one-piecing it up. I'm bringing some new stuff today. Or two new stuff for that stream. So I'm actually really excited. He's not allowed to play Blackbeard. I will say that. I'm just kidding. But welcome in. Thank you so much for the raid, Hasher. Thank you. Started Nuzlocke and Meryl solo the first 2 gyms. Yo, wait, that's so sick. Wait, that's so awesome. Meryl's a powerhouse. Don't sleep on Meryl. Thank you for the gift of sub to Hasher. Thank you. I wasn't actually planning on playing BB this time. I have. Okay, hold up. I for sure have. Oh man, I'm so sad. My OP11 stuff is gonna be late, so I might have to play a reverted version of a deck. But you know what? That is okay. Back to art comms for me. Well, thank you so much for hanging out. I wanted to play Velo Betty tomorrow, but I don't have her new stuff. So I guess we will see. We will see. I for sure have 2 decks for tomorrow. Unless you're okay with me proxying. But that's a whole different thing. Meryl is great, adorable, and actually useful. Is it like an adamant Azumarill with like the belly? What is it? It has like ability that says like belly something. Belly, I almost said belly bolt, but it's not belly bolt. Not belly bolt, that's a Pokemon, Poseidon. Belly drum, there we go. I'm losing my mind trying to get to Bij. No, I'm sorry. Pure power belly zoom roll. Yes. I wanna try that out. That's one of my friend's favorite Pokemon. Let me just make sure the sound is working. Because it would really suck if the sound wasn't working.
Humanity has...
Oh, sick. Yeah, everybody coming in from Hasher Stream. We're about to do some reacting to some Pokemon videos. By Pokemon. Maybe other videos, we'll see. Does Bella Buddy have stuff in OP11? Yes. She has the new Zeus card, actually. Actually, yeah, she has the new Zeus card. You may add 1 card from the top or bottom of your life to your hand, KO something. 5k or less, and it's a 2k. Not my Zeus, though. Currently soft resetting. Hold up. I gotta turn on my fan. I'm currently soft resetting for a shiny Zekrom and Alpha Sapphire. Been at it for 6 hours. No, I'm so sorry. Shiny Zekrom and Alpha Sapphire? You can get that. Wait, that's so sick. Yeah, this is the only one. Technically. So, yeah, it's a 2k, but it does have a pretty strong ability if you want to clear. But, yeah, I wanted to play that, but we'll see. I actually have to put together my stuff. I have a new version of Bonnie. I'm actually so sad. My starter decks aren't here yet. My starter deck's already here! I pulled all the art of this guy, dude. That's so sick. The one with Nami on it. Yippee. I don't have my hands on an OP11 box. I kind of wish I got one, but it is what it is, I suppose. It's so cute. I believe you. I want. I only opened a few OP11 packs and I got nothing. And I'm really sad. I got like the little double pack with the Dawn pack. Did you guys see the Kumdon? The Kumdon? I don't know what to search for. I tried looking for it on Google, but I couldn't find it. But basically, if you guys know like who Katakuri is, he got a new Dawn. Apparently he has a mochi fruit and it's white. And it's like a liquid or whatever. And it looks like there's white liquid all over the Dawn. And everybody's calling it the Cum Dawn. I pulled one. Hold up. Let me see if I can find it. 1 second. If you just embrace the disappointment, saves pain. Is the hit rates for OP11 that bad? Let me see. I wanna show you guys the Cum Dawn. Yeah, the cum fruit. My locals was looking for it. They were like, "Who put the cum Dawn?" I'm like, why is everybody saying that? And they showed it to me. They told me why, and it was because of his devil fruit. And I was like, wait, that's so funny. I want the cum Dawn. I wonder if they listed it on TCG Player yet. I'm looking. There's so many Dawn. Like, there's just so many Dawn cards. I can't... They haven't listed the Cum Dawn yet! Okay, hold up. Katakuri Dawn card? I want to show you guys this. It's so funny. Because he has 2 Dawn cards now, but... Hold up. OP11 Dawn pack. Oh, you know what? It might be on their website. And Kobe got a Dawn too. I just have to look. It came in the double Dawn pack. Chat, I swear I pulled the Cum Dawn. I'm looking for it. Where can I see the Dawn? I need... Maybe Twitter has it. Hold up. Twitter. If somebody knows what I'm talking about, can you please put it in like the chat or something? Or maybe you guys can't, the category. Yeah, hi Rodum. Ah, here we go. Let me make sure. Okay. Doesn't that look like cum? Chat, doesn't that look like cum? It looks like cum. I was laughing when I pulled this. I'm like, why does this look so wrong? It's not Pilk, chat. Pilk would be more brown. So anyway, I'm looking for a full set of these. Somebody wanted to trade me for it, and I said I want to keep the Cum Dawn. I want to keep the Cum Dawn. So like, if I theoretically, chat, if I had these all over my body, would that count as a bukkake? I'm really sorry. I don't know why I said that. My bad. The intrusive thoughts won. I shouldn't be allowed to play card games. I shouldn't be allowed. I shouldn't be allowed to play card games. Okay. Never mind. Maybe I should trade this away. Straight thieves are being here for the first time. I'm sorry, brother. I'm sorry. I swear, I'm not stalling the reacting. I just literally, I just like yapping. I mean, this is why people watch me, right? They like to hear me yap. Yappity yap yap. Hello, first time chatters. Welcome to a Poseidon stream. I like shiny cardboard and cum. Out of the deck of it yesterday, I got the Nami leader. Oh, sick! Dude, I don't want to play against Nami. Nami is going to be so annoying. If you beat your opponent using those Dawn, you legally get to fling them at your opponent like a single stack of... Single Dawn. What the fuck? Hasher, you're about to get me banned out of LGS. I told you guys I made somebody crash out at the last locals I went to, right? I made somebody crash out at OP locals because I played a one-of card in my deck that actually shut down their entire game plan, and it was so funny. They were like kind of upset, but you could tell they were trying not to be upset. And they were like, so how many of that... I played Electrical Luna, so that card freezes everything that's a 7 cost or less on the board, and they were playing Bella Betty. And I play 1 copy in my Bonnie deck right now, and they were like, so how many of those do you play? Because they weren't expecting it from me, and... wow, thank you so much! Thank you, Fossy, for the five months. Membership. Yippee. If they crashed out, all you need to say was pay $1 and rest them. Luna's rough, especially when you're not expecting it. So he Bella Buddied. He swung at my entire like board. So what I did was I like swung at leader, and then I froze his board. And it was so funny because I wasn't swinging at his characters. And when I was like 7 to leader, but banish. He was just like, you're swinging at my leader? And I was like, yeah, I'm swinging at your leader. And they're like, huh, why aren't you swinging at my board? And I played the Electrical Luna, and they went, oh. And then it was their turn. They tried to hit me with a 15,000 leader because they couldn't play anything. They had 2 cards in hand, and I just blocked it with my Rosinante, and then they passed, and I just won the game the next turn. It was so great. I love card games. They're so fun. Okay, I'm sorry. I just got really carried away. I love the One Piece card game. Alrighty, gamers. I think it's time we play. We watch Pokemon's Lost Islands by MNJTV. I've been really enjoying watching his videos. I've reacted to a few of them. They've all been super fun to watch. He's just a very, very intriguing content creator. I can't stop watching his stuff. But this is Pokemon's Lost Islands.
Humanity has long been fascinated by the idea of mysterious, secret islands. Treasure Island, Skull Island, Neverland,
sorry,
and many more. Pokemon
I see pirate ship and my brain just goes, One Piece! That's the One Piece!
Has its own share of these elusive islands too. Islands that are either extremely difficult or flat out impossible to access today. These are Pokemon's Lost Islands. We'll progress through the islands chronologically, except for the last one, which I'm saving because not only is it the most lost, but also it's the most interesting. We begin in the Hoenn region.
You're saving the best for last? Why don't you tell me now?
Region in Ruby and Sapphire, specifically Pacifilog Town. There are minor interests here, but one house in particular has 2 older men that mention something odd. Mirage Island. One of them is constantly looking out his window to the east and tells you that he cannot see the island today. The other wonders whether the island becomes visible due to the weather or if it's physically appearing and disappearing.
Is it real though? Is Mirage Island a real thing?
It's the latter. Mirage Island does physically appear and disappear, but your chances of seeing it are outrageously low. Bulbapedia says, every day a random number between 0 and 65,535 is generated by the game.
65,535?
If this number matches the first 2 bytes of the personality value, a hidden piece of code unique to every individual Pokemon, of any of the Pokemon in the player's party, then Mirage Island will appear. To simplify, if you have 1 Pokemon in your party, this means your chance of seeing Mirage Island one specific day is 1 in 65,535. Realistically though, you'd have a full party by this point, so assuming no personality value byte overlap, your chances improve quite a bit, all the way up to 1 in about 11,000.
That's
As
more
a reminder,
than a shiny Pokemon, right? Shiny is just like a few thousand. This one's 11.
And 3 shiny chance is 1 in 8,192. So Mirage Island is rarer than a shiny Pokemon. However, you can encounter wild Pokemon pretty quickly. Meanwhile, for each 1 in 11,000 attempt for Mirage Island, you have to check with the old man, go to the PC, swap out your entire party, and try again with a new squad of 6. The odds of you encountering Mirage Island randomly are astronomically low. But also, for most, it's not even possible anymore. If your cartridge's internal battery has run dry, which is likely, the games are 20 years old, time-based events can't occur anymore. And Mirage Island is a time-based event. The only way you could still see it is if the battery ran dry when Mirage Island was accessible. And it will then stay accessible forever. But that's, of course, insanely.
What are the odds? What are the odds that happens?
Unlikely. Now, I know you can repair the internal batteries, but I'm not gonna do that. I don't know how.
I'm sure there's somebody out there who has actually like repaired their batteries just for Mirage Island.
And I'm scared I'm gonna ruin the whole cartridge. I got a mechanical engineering degree, not electrical. But let's say you somehow get lucky and succeed. You talk to the man, and he says he can see Mirage Island. What is this mystical place actually like? Should it appear, you can find it on Route 130. It's smack dab in the middle of the route, removing any rocks and trainers in its way. If you ascend the hill, you'll find grass, trees, and a single berry plant with a single berry. A lychee berry, found nowhere else in Gen 3.
Mirage Berry?
Outside of event distributions. This exclusive rare berry raises attack when the Pokemon's health gets low. Gotta be honest, it's kind of weird that this berry was so exclusive, like the effect isn't crazy, and it's very easy to find today. But then in the tall grass, you can find exclusive wild Pokemon. Why not? Just
what the
why
fuck?
Not? They range from levels 5.
That's it? That's it? Only why not?
5 to 50. And
why
that's
not?
it. It kind of feels like a prank. An insanely rare and hard to find place just gives you an okay berry and the chance to catch Pokemon that are already available elsewhere in the game.
We
just
love
not
to
in the wild.
see it.
It's kind of underwhelming, but honestly, I think it's better that way. I think it's more fair. Like, if they'd locked something insanely cool and powerful behind random, extremely small chance, I think that'd be kind of messed up. It is odd that they made it so insanely rare though, yet still openly talked about it. For example, my Emerald guidebook had a section dedicated to Mirage Island. So
what the fuck? Do you guys remember when they used to, do they still do these? The guidebooks? Because I remember when I would get my like copies of Pokemon, like Diamond and Pearl, Black and White, you know, I always bought the guidebook for it, and I would actually read and follow it. Oh man, good old times. I don't even remember. My parents might have thrown it away, but I loved these guidebooks so much. They were always super fun to go through.
So ever since I was a kid, I hoped to someday have a chance to go there. But
why
I never
not?
could because of how insanely rare it is. The Gen 6 Hoenn remakes, Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, removed this version of Mirage
I can't
Island.
believe this.
Instead, Mirage spots appear while soaring on Mega Latios or Latias.
It's not the same, though. It's not the same.
Some include the legendary Pokemon, but others are called Mirage Forests, Caves, Mountains, or Islands, even though they're all technically islands. There's a lot of different ones and they change each day, and you can make more than one appear if you street pass with someone else, but I don't consider them to be lost
items. Street passing. Well, it's not dead, but that's what I wish the Switch 2 had, Street Pass.
Islands, since you can find them all with comparative ease. Ruby and Sapphire have another lost island though, but to best explain this Gen 3 island, we first have to jump forward to Gen 6. During the main plot of Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, you encounter Steven on Route 118. Shortly afterward, a Latias or Latios appears requesting your help, then flies you and Steven to an island called Southern Island. There you'll find the other Lati being harassed by Team Magma or Aqua. After multi-battling with Steven against the evil team, the rescued Lati will join your team holding its Mega Stone.
Oh?
Steven also gifts you the Mega Bracelet.
I'll be really honest, chat. I never finished Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire. I'm sorry. I sold my copy.
But did you know that Southern Island is in Gen 3 as well? It actually shows up right here on the Hoenn map, but its name only appears if you've been there before. So how do you get there? The answer is the Eon Ticket. The Eon Ticket was an event item distributed in a variety of ways, but mainly from the Game Boy Advance e-reader, an accessory where you could swipe cards through it to create things in your game.
Wait, that's so cool.
It never really took off, but if you got the Eon Ticket one way or another, you could actually record mix with other players to share the ticket to them. This was actually the only way to get the Eon Ticket in Emerald, since it was only ever distributed for Ruby and Sapphire specifically. Although, quick sidebar, relevant I promise, I didn't know this until making this video. Did you know that you have to manually activate Mystery Gift, technically called Mystery Event in Ruby and Sapphire, with a secret code?
It wasn't just available to you, you had to unlock it via code?
Have to talk to this specific guy in the Petalburg Pokemon Center and tell him the specific phrase, mystery event is exciting. That's weird.
What?
All I have to say, let's move on. Once the ticket is in your game and you've beaten the league, you can talk to Norman in his gym where he will hand it to you. You can then go to the Lily Cove port and speak to the woman there. Once she sees the pass, a sailor replaces her, saying, "Aye, mate, are you the one who brought that mighty odd pass?" I know he's not a pirate, but he is talking like one. Maybe he's a former pirate. "I'll tell ya, you're trying to reach a tiny spit of an island far in the south. There's no telling what we'll encounter once we reach there, aye. That shivers my timbers. All aboard!" And then the SS title, which, reminder, is a passenger vessel large enough to have overnight cabins for people, is steered based on the whims of a child to the remote southern island.
Yeah,
and despite
guys,
there being no
let's trust a boat to a 10-year-old.
telling what we'll encounter there, the island has a full dock. This is gonna be the case for quite a few of the islands. They're supposedly mysterious and rare and far away, and then they have like man-made structures on them. Ha-ha! It is I, Grunty, and I need your help.
He's back!
What? I'm trying to scam people online. No, I'm not helping you with that. Relax, I'm here because it's not going well. Too many people use NordVPN, the sponsor of this video. Hell yeah, they do. NordVPN makes you safer online with just a single click. By encrypting your internet traffic, including on public Wi-Fi networks, it protects you from bad actors. Like you, apparently. Hey, there's no need to be rude. Yes, there is. Well, NordVPN was rude first. Their Threat Protection Pro tool is driving me nuts. It's so effective at detecting all of my phishing links, fake storefronts, and malware that preventing users from being afflicted by them. You're not getting any sympathy from me. And in fact, I'm gonna make things harder for you. Get my exclusive NordVPN deal plus 4 extra months by going to nordvpn.com/M&J, linked in the description below. It's risk-free with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee. Phew, okay, that's a relief, thank you. Wait, what? Why? The boss put me on this stupid online scam project and I hate it. But now that I helped you with this promo, the project is doomed. Now I can finally return to my favorite crime department, Pokemon card scalping.
No!
Ta-ta! Gen 3's Southern Island looks like much of Hoenn, and you'll soon find a sign that reads, "Those whose memories fade seek to carve them in their hearts." This message appears in Gen 6 as well, but is sent to you seemingly telepathically. Once you enter the deeper forest, you'll find a small clearing with a puddle and a strange rock structure in the center. Interacting with it summons Latias or Latios, whichever one you cannot find roaming around in your game. So in Ruby, it's Latias, in Sapphire, it's Latios, and in Emerald, it's whichever one you did not pick based on the news broadcast that happens right after beating the league. The Lati is level 50 and will not flee the battle, fighting you without roaming. If you succeed in catching it, it will be holding the Soul Dew, a held item that boosts the Lati's special attack and special defense by 50% each, at least until they nerfed it in Gen 7. This is the only way to get the Soul Dew in Gen 3, and in fact it remained an event-exclusive item all the way up until Black 2 and White 2. Make sure you save before the battle though, I know that's common knowledge, but in Ruby and Sapphire, if you fail and leave the island, you cannot go back. Once the battle with the Lati is complete, you can interact with the rock again, where you can read something else. All dreams are but another reality. Never forget. This message also appears in Gen 6. You can then return to the sailor who says, "Aye, mate, there's nothing here to see or do on this forgettable island." And I just think this is funny. It's like, what do you mean, man? Like, I just caught a Latias. And he'll be like, "Oh, aye, that shivers me timbers." And then you can sail back to Lily Cove. However, this island is lost because this event is long gone. I suppose you can still mix records with a save file that does have the ticket, but that's exceedingly unlikely. Fun fact, they brought the Eon Ticket event back for Gen 6. It was distributed over Wi-Fi, allowing you to return to Southern Island after visiting the first time to battle a level 30 Lati. Again, being the one you did not obtain during the main story. This can get you the Soul Dew, but not its Mega Stone. This event is also over, but supposedly you can still get the Eon Ticket from someone else if you Street Pass with them, assuming they got it initially, which again, is possible but unlikely. I guess you could call this event lost, but I don't consider Gen 6 Southern Island to be lost because you have to go there to beat the game. The next couple islands can also be found in Hoenn, but not just Hoenn. And in fact, not in Ruby and Sapphire at all. For these, we have to start in the games after Ruby and Sapphire, Fire Red, and Leaf Green. If you played these games, then the presence of islands should not surprise you. After all, they're the only games that house the 7 Sevi Islands. But did you know that there's actually 9?
9?
9 islands. No, that's terrible. To access these islands, though, you have to do a bit more than just beat the league. You first have to upgrade to the National Pokedex, which requires owning 60 species, then talking to Oak in his lab. And then you need to talk to Celio on one island, where he recruits you to get a Ruby and Sapphire to upgrade the network machine. You get the Ruby by delving through Mount Ember into the Ruby Path, and once you return with it, he gives you the Rainbow Pass, which gives you access to the islands beyond the first 3. Oh, and also you have to activate Mystery Gift by putting the phrase "link together with all" into the paper on the counter in any Pokemart. You have to do this in Emerald too. It's so silly.
It is. It's kind
why
of
did
dumb.
they do this? As you might have guessed, both of these islands require event items to access. Events that are long gone. So you cannot legitimately sail to these islands anymore. The first of these is the Aurora ticket. If you show it to the sailor in Vermilion, he'll take you there immediately and drop you off inside
Oh, damn.
a full
Look at
building.
that boat.
Again, this is weird. Who built this building? Why is it not just a rocky shore? One interesting thing about this island is that if you open your town map, you'll see that you are indeed within the Sevi Islands, not too far from 6 and 7 Island. Then once you step outside the harbor building, you will find yourself on Birth Island.
Birth?
It's triangular and small. Almost all of it can fit onto the screen at once. There's nothing there but a strange dark triangle in the center. If you interact with it, it moves. This is actually a weird puzzle. You have to interact with the triangle and watch it move, then take the shortest path to its new location, then interact and repeat. This seems pretty simple, but to be honest, it actually confused me for a bit the first time I tried it. I thought I was taking the shortest path, but it turns out at one point I was taking a path that was shortest to get there, but it put me on the wrong side, thus out of position to take the shortest path to the next location. If you ever do this yourself, I recommend just following Bulbapedia's instructions. As the puzzle goes on, the triangle turns redder and redder until finally, once it's back at the center, you can interact with it, making Deoxys appear. This is how you get the second Gen 3 mythical Pokemon. Jirachi had other distributions, like the Coliseum bonus disc. The Deoxys battle is pretty epic, playing an intense theme exclusive to this battle. Deoxys is level 30, and its moveset varies depending on the version. That's because once you catch it, it will change form. You may already know about the different Deoxys forms today and how you can change its form with varying methods across games, but usually interacting with meteorites. But in Gen 3, its form depended on which game the Deoxys was in. Normal in Ruby and Sapphire, attack in Fire Red, defense in Leaf Green, and speed in Emerald. Once catching it, you can return to Vermilion,
so cool,
where if you check your town map again, you'll see that the triangular Birth Island is now visible. In Emerald, things play out pretty similarly, but with 3 minor differences. Number 1, Birth Island looks a bit different, with grass instead of dark dirt under the triangle. Number 2, the sailor describes the island as far, far away, which we know to be true because it's not near Hoenn, it's in the Sevi Islands. And number 3, it sucks. Look, I recorded this in both Fire Red and Emerald, and in Fire Red, it only took me 4 Ultra Balls. But in Emerald, it took me 4 attempts, totaling over 100 Ultra and Timer Balls, which never worked because I was so pissed off I gave up and Master Balled it. Screw you, Deoxys! You are a plague upon this planet and my sanity! Birth Island only ever appeared in these 3 games, though, since famously, Deoxys returned in a different fashion in Gen 6, straight out of an asteroid. But the triangle it comes from, and the movement that triangle makes before it attacks, are direct references to its original appearance on Birth Island. The other lost Sevi Island is quite different from Birth Island, though. First off, it's much larger, but also it doesn't feature one new-at-the-time Pokemon. It features 2 older Pokemon. The event item is the Mystic Ticket, which, if again shown to the Vermilion Sailor, will take you to another fully constructed building. Your town map will show that you're somewhere between 4 and 5 Island. Exiting the building reveals your location, Naval Rock. Fun fact, I named my Animal Crossing New Horizons island Naval Rock as a reference to this island.
Wait, that's
it was a perfect fit because my native endemic fruit was oranges. And navel oranges are a type of orange. I don't know why the island is called Naval Rock, though. My best guess is that the outside of it looks like a big, rocky, outy belly button. If you dive deep into that belly button, though, you'll walk through a few chambers, including a maze-like one with some lengthy dead ends. There are no wild Pokemon. Eventually, you'll reach a fork in the road. Going right has you go down so many floors, it's literally like 14. Eventually reaching a darker chamber with water at the back. And there waits Lugia. You can then start a battle to try to catch it, and it will be level 70. Should you go left at the fork, which you can do before or after Lugia, you get to do both, you'll go up a few floors to reach the island's summit, where, you guessed it, Ho-Oh will fly down and attack you. It is also level 70. Aside from some other random distributions, this event is the only way to get these Pokemon in Gen 3 without transferring them from Coliseum and XD, the GameCube spin-off games. And that will take extra equipment and also a ton of time. To get Ho-Oh from Coliseum, you have to purify all 48 Shadow Pokemon and then beat all 100 trainers in Mount Battle's Battle Mode with your Story Mode team. But even then, that's still probably—
He sounds angry. It sounds like he went through this. Sounds like he went through trauma.
Better than trying to catch these stupid birds on Naval Rock because they're evil. They know Recover, which has 20 PP in Gen 3. Emerald's version of Naval Rock is functionally identical, but aesthetically quite different.
That's actual
It's
PTSD.
brown on the outside instead of light gray, and its interior is a light yellow instead of gray and white. The two color schemes could be a reference to Ho-Oh and Lugia's original games, Gold and Silver. Also, when you leave in Emerald, the sailor says, Did you hear that? That low growling from deep in there. Are you sure it's safe? Do you think we should leave? I just thought it was interesting that he expressed such fear, even after you've caught the legends. When you check your town map in Fire Red Leaf Green after leaving, you can now see Naval Rock present in the spot you were before. Naval Rock does not return in any other game. The next only Kanto games, Let's Go,
I can't believe this. I cannot believe this.
did not feature the Sevi Islands nor any Pokemon outside Gen 1. Oris could have included it, but they instead opted to put the Hoopa rings across the map for a bunch of different legends, with Ho-Ohs and Lugias being version exclusives in Sea Mauville. The next Lost Island is in Gen 4, but before we can go to it, we have to travel to one that is not lost. Well, actually, first we have to activate Mystery Gift in the Jubilife TV building by talking to this guy and putting in the phrase, "Everyone happy Wi-Fi connection." Again,
Everyone
I do not
happy
get why this was
Wi-Fi connection. I'm gonna get that tattooed on in cursive on my arm.
necessary.
I'm just kidding.
They got rid of it in Gen 5. Why did it last all this time? Why need a password to receive fun things? Once you become champion and have the national dex in Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum, you can enter Sailor Eldritch's house in Canalave City and find his son tortured by an unending nightmare that he can't wake up from, saying,
Wait, that is
Doc
actually
watching
so scary.
him. The mother knows a lunar wing from Full Moon Island would save him, but Eldritch went there and couldn't find one. When you speak to Eldritch, he immediately takes you to Full Moon Island, which doesn't have a real dock. Finally!
It makes sense!
Although it does have man-made looking stairs. I mean, a lot of places do that because they just never design tiles for like a natural ramp. But also like, people also definitely just know this island is here. So like maybe and there's like the pillar things. Anyways, Full Moon Island is not large. The path winds east and culminates in a clearing with Cresselia in the center. Interacting with it registers it as seen in your
Cresselia is my favorite legendary Pokemon.
Pokedex, and then it disappears to roam Sinnoh, leaving the lunar wing behind. You can then pick it up, return to Canalave, and rescue Eldritch's son.
Or you can keep it for yourself. But that would be really shitty.
Kind of freaky event with a happy ending. But Full Moon Island is not lost. It's easily accessible in every Sinnoh game, including BDSP. As for the Lost Island, there's one more thing I need to show you first to best understand it. The Harbor Inn is the building north of the Pokemon Center in Canalave. The sign says the name of the place, but then the rest of the text is too faded to decipher. The door is locked tight, impossible to open. The Harbor Inn will stay this way forever unless you get a specific event item, the member card. And this is where things get super weird. After getting the item, you can approach the inn and find that its sign looks different now.
What?
Harbor Inn, a roost for restless sailors. Enjoy sweet dreams in our sumptuous beds.
What?
And now the door is unlocked. But when you enter, things are immediately off. The music changes to that of the old chateau. A strange man immediately greets you, telling you, "We've had a reservation for you."
What? This is like some horror movie. Some horror movie shit.
"We've held it for a long time."
That is creepy. Somebody call the cops on this man.
He ushers you to the bed where you lay down as if bidden there. After
what is this? I've never done this in my game. What the fuck? This is so creepy.
Blinking a few times, you're overwhelmed by darkness. But then
That is so
you wake
scary.
up somewhere else. It's an island. A ship is there, but there's no one to captain it. You might then notice something interesting about this place. It is a mirror image of Full Moon Island.
Oh, Darkrai!
But the shore is barren and rocky,
Right.
rather than lush and covered in trees and grass.
Opposite.
You have no choice but to journey deeper and find a forest clearing. And within this crater-like arena is the mythical Pokemon Darkrai.
That's my goat. I love
Interacting with it
Darkrai.
starts the battle. Level 40 in Diamond and Pearl and level 50 in Platinum, where you have the chance to catch it. Make sure to bring full restores, because with Hypnosis, Bad Dreams, and Nightmare, it can wear down your team quickly. Once caught or defeated, you'll hear a strange, disembodied voice. Darkrai, your power is strong. Though you don't will it, you make people and Pokemon around you see terrible nightmares.
Okay, I don't think that exact voice was in the game, but we can pretend.
That is why you came here. New Moon Island. There is no one but you here. There is none that can be drawn into your nightmare.
Oh my god.
If anyone were to fall into a nightmare, the Full Moon Island is nearby. And then you wake up, back in the bed.
It was
in the
all a
inn.
dream.
It was all a dream, yet Darkrai was real and is now in your PC. When you step outside the inn, a sailor, likely Eldritch, approaches. You've been asleep for a long, long time.
What?
What happened to you? And what were you doing here? No one's lived here for 50 years. Ugh, creepy! But New
I
Moon
don't like
Island
that.
is real. You can return to it with Eldritch anytime you want. But how did this happen? How did you get to an island with your Pokemon through a dream? And who was that creepy man who forced you into the bed? He wasn't working with Darkrai. They made it very clear that Darkrai does not want to cause nightmares. So is he just like some vengeful, cruel spirit?
He's
I
just
don't
a
know.
silly dude.
It's also confusing and weird and pretty cool. Unlike other islands in this video, this lost island was actually
That's some horror game stuff.
brought back after its initial generation. In BDSP, if you got the member card from Wi-Fi Mystery Gift in April of 2022, you could play out an essentially identical event. I did not do that. I've made it clear before that I hate BDSP, and so had no interest in playing those games for even a moment longer. But anyway, since I missed both the Gen 8 and Gen 4 event, New Moon Island is lost to me and many others. We now move to Gen 5, which features two Lost Islands, and they are unique from all the others in a major way. They're not mysterious, remote, wild places. They have people on them. A lot of them, actually. You can even see the islands in plain sight on the Unova map. And they have buildings. I guess a lot of the other ones did too. I've been clowning on that. But like, these ones have buildings. Like, not meant for boats. Now, of these two islands, one of them is significantly more interesting than the other, so we'll start with the lamer one. Step one to access it is
interesting?
going to GeoNet, the globe in every Pokemon Center. There you can set your save file's location independent of the game's language. Once you've done this, you have to trade Pokemon with someone in a different GeoNet country. This may seem impossible today due to the DS Wi-Fi connection being shut down a long time ago, but it is actually still possible. You simply have to trade through local wireless within the Union Room. I accomplished this by having one save file be honest and say I'm in the USA, and then the other say their GeoNet location was Austria. Austria? Good eye might. That is a joke. I want to be so clear. I know the difference. I am referencing.
I was about to say, I'm like, that's not Austria, that's Australia.
Dumb and Dumber. You can then go to Castelia City's Unity Pier, the second from the left, and the woman by the blue ship will take you to Unity Tower. There you'll find colorful flags and a massive skyscraper. Unity Tower is actually inspired by the United Nations, but the building itself looks much like the Empire State Building.
Yeah.
Once inside the lobby, you can head to one of the 131 floors, one for each country GeoNet recognizes. But you can only go to floors of countries you've interacted with. I headed to the Austria floor, where I could have a brief conversation with the avatar of my other save file. And that is it. There's nothing else to do. It is so lame. It acts like a trophy case for international trades, but it can only hold up to 20 trainers at a time, far less than 130. Unity Tower is so forgettable that when I was working on this video, I was working on the other Gen 5 island and then noticed this one next to it and was like, wait, what is that? And then I figured out it was Unity Tower and I was reading the Bulbapedia article and I was like, wait, I've read about this one time before, like 4 years ago, and then promptly forgot about it. And I'd never been there myself until making this video. Let's move on to the much more interesting island. Like many others, it requires an event item, at least in one pair of games. That item being the Liberty Pass. It was distributed through the internet for a brief period right after Black and White released. I definitely could have gotten this event. I got Black and White right when they came out, but I didn't.
I love Gen 5.
And I don't know why. I was in high school, I was busy. With the Liberty Pass, you can go to Liberty Pier, the far left one, and ride the boat to Liberty Garden, which, shocker, is inspired by Liberty Island, home of the Statue of Liberty. I feel like I've stumbled into an ad for Liberty Mutual Insurance. Liberty, 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 liberty. Although I should note that Liberty Garden has a lighthouse, not a big statue lady. When you first arrive to Liberty Garden, though, things are in chaos. Team Plasma has attacked. There are multiple grunts to fight, but since this event is accessible as soon as you reach Castelia City, their Pokemon's levels are only in the teens. So it's a bit weird doing it post-game when Team Plasma has already disbanded. As you fight through, you'll find a sign that says, "This lighthouse shines with the light of freedom." America, sure. Only authorized personnel may enter. Hey, that doesn't sound like freedom. Oh, also there's a vending machine. Wow, this lost island has kept.
Wait, that's kind of comical. They just have a vending machine. You can get a fresh pop lemonade.
Capitalism! This place is sickeningly American! After enough fights, you can enter the lighthouse and descend into its basement. The stairway culminates in a final room that, oddly, looks like a children's bedroom. And Victini is standing right there! The grunt
What is Victini just doing there? What is he doing there?
Explains that 200 years prior, a rich person bought Liberty Garden and hid Victini away within it. Due to its powers of gifting victory to all near it, it became a target of villains, and the rich person wanted to protect it, and so locked it away here. Now Team Plasma wants it for their own goals.
That's kidnapping, right? That falls under hostage kidnapping? Like, what the fuck?
Which, again, did not make any sense after having already defeated them. Once you defeat the last grunt, you can battle Victini and try to catch it. Only at level 15, but its catch rate is still only 3. After the battle, the grunt says, living with Victini means accepting Victini's cruel destiny.
Cruel destiny?
Someday we will test you to see if you are truly ready for that. Cruel destiny? Damn, this grunt's a poet. When you return outside, you'll find Professor Juniper and the police arresting Team Plasma. Juniper repeats the discussion about evil people wanting to use Victini.
Thank you, Mommy. Thank you, Mommy Juniper. I'm down bad, so I'm sorry.
His powers and understanding the rich person's reasoning behind locking it away to protect it. But she also says, I think shutting the poor thing up in this room was a mistake. She also talks about how Victini gets a special unique Pokedex number, 0. Juniper and the police leave, and now Victini gets to live a new life out in the world with you. Interestingly, Liberty Garden returns in Black 2 and White 2, and you can go to it at any time without needing an event item. So it's really only lost in Black and White. However, in the sequels, Victini is not there, so there's not really anything to do unless you bring Victini there yourself. If you show the Pokemon its old room, it'll do a cute little dance, then return to its Pokeball with an air of satisfaction. And if you want to feel an air of satisfaction, consider subscribing to the channel, or double check that you're subscribed if you think you already are. If you watch this far into the video, you probably enjoy what I do.
I love
and
your
now
videos.
for the final island. This one is my favorite because the lore behind it runs really deep. It's also definitely the lostest because the fewest amount of people have ever been able to legitimately access it. That's because it is only found in Emerald and was never officially accessible outside of Japan and Taiwan. Yet the code for it is in every version of Emerald. So with a little bit of witchcraft, we can see what would have happened if we'd ever been given access to the Old Sea map. When you take this item to the harbor in Lily Cove, things don't go quite the same as they do for the other Hoenn accessible islands. The sailor actually tells you that it's too far and that he cannot help you. But then Mr. Briny, captain of the SS title as of the postgame, busts out and excitedly announces that he will help you. So again, you essentially commandeer a passenger cabin ship. These people got on there thinking they're going to Slateport, and you're taking them to the middle of nowhere. And then when you land on the island, again, it somehow has a man-made dock. But for once, this dock actually makes sense, because someone has been there before. This island is aptly named Faraway Island. Its shore is rocky, and if you navigate over to the left, you'll find a sign with faded writing. Filling in the blanks, it reads, some month ending in BER, 6th day. If any human sets foot here again,
October,
let it be a kind heart.
September, November, December. Only those months.
Person. With that hope, I depart. If you navigate up the rocky shore, the terrain transitions into puddle-filled jungle. Then when you reach the deeper area, you find Mew. Remember that sign we read?
What?
Of course you do, that was like seconds ago. In the Japanese version of the sign, it ends with the remnants of a signature, the Japanese symbol for G. This heavily implies that the message was written by Mr. Fuji, the man in Lavender Town who founded Cinnabar Lab and is essentially confirmed to have been involved in the creation of Mewtwo. The Pokemon Mansion journals, which he may have written himself, mention that Mew was found in Guyana, South America, deep in the jungle.
What?
This area is definitely jungle.
Specific location.
So Faraway Island could very well be an island off the coast of Guyana. This lost Pokemon island could be a real world place. The month on the message works well too. Different languages imply things differently, but at least in English, the final Mansion diary entry about Mewtwo being too strong is dated September 1st. This means that sometime after Mewtwo's escape, during one of the final 4 months of the year, all of which end in BER, Mr. Fuji could have returned Mew to Faraway Island, then left a message, hoping that whoever finds it next won't mimic their mistakes. Once you see Mew, it immediately flees, but not far. It will scurry through the tall grass, again with no wild Pokemon, until you eventually catch up with it and can initiate a battle. Mew is level 30 and knows some tricky moves like Transform and Metronome, but its catch rate is 45, the same as Pokemon like Delibird or Bagon, and thus much better than 3 like all the other legends so far. Once caught, you can return to the sailor, who says Captain Briny can be so maddeningly fickle, which is hilarious. And fair, you dragged all these people to the middle of nowhere, and then you sail home. As I said earlier, this island never returns in any other game. Mew's been distributed a bunch of other times, but this was the only legitimate way to battle a wild Mew, rather than simply receiving one. All the lost Pokemon islands are fascinating, but Faraway Island is far and away my favorite. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to check out another one of my videos diving into classic Pokemon quests, check out my video about why catching Regigigas in Gen 4 was almost impossible.
I thoroughly enjoyed that. I didn't know about Faraway. What is it? Faraway Island with the Mew? How many people? So only people in Japan and Taiwan were able to get that? Unless, like, you had something? I don't know. But that was super cool. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Thank you for the gifted sub. Hell yeah, there are people gifting subs today. Mikey W. Also, Jinga42 Flow and Daddy Centaur. Thank you guys so much for the follow. Sorry, you're watching the video, so I couldn't really acknowledge it. But thank you so much. Metro into self-destruct. That's fun to watch, and I don't even play Pokemon. Oh, look, it's my video. It's because I'm on my second channel. If you guys haven't subscribed yet, this is my second channel. This is where I will be uploading all my React videos and my clip videos from now on. We are over halfway done to getting monetized. So it would really, really, really mean a lot to me if you guys were to go and sub. I haven't uploaded in a few days, and it's just because I haven't reacted to anything, which is why I'm doing the React stuff today. So I can just stream and also react as well. But definitely go give my second channel a follow or subscribe. Yeah, we trying to get this. We're trying to get this all up. A certain Hololive rabbit once caught strays for doing the old sea map on stream. Oh shit. So it can't hurt. Thank you guys so much. But yeah, all my React content will be going here from now on. Yeah, this one I had React content, but we're gonna transition it to just like gameplay or other types of videos. So all the Reacts, and I'm hoping to also get clips on here. I'm hoping to keep this active, so that way this is like my secondary channel. So yeah. That was fun. I enjoyed that video. That was like the only planned video I had today, and then I was gonna freeball the rest of like the videos. I've been following YouTube channel too since the first one. I've been following you. Thank you. Yeah, definitely subscribe to both of my channels. Definitely,
humanity has
for sure helps me out. I just did it for the what do you call it? I did it for the whole kind of making sure that the algorithm kind of doesn't
all Pokemon
out,
have either one or two types at a time.
I'm a simple man. I see silly, funny Pokemon videos. I get scared, but still click. Are you gonna try the water Nuzlocke again or no? Probably, yeah. I don't know what game I'm gonna do it in. I'm gonna definitely try it again. I'm not gonna try it on BDSP. If you guys watched the last water only Nuzlocke I did, it was so freaking embarrassing. Like I'm very ashamed of myself. I actually have never done a Nuzlocke until I started VTubing. Like that was the first time I've ever done Nuzlocks. All right, let's see. 12 most annoying Pokemon. Annoying? Is there any Pokemon that you guys consider annoying? I'm trying to remember who I think is annoying. Like, I can't think. Why is everybody saying Abra? Abra? Definitely don't do it in Gen 5. Shit's drier than the desert. Zubat? Oh, maybe like annoying to catch, huh? Ooh, I don't know. Why did that show up 3 times on my screen? Why did that show up 3 times? Why did that show 3 times? Leafars Oz, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome in. A fart cloud? No, that's not why. Doug Trio. No! Don't remind me. Play a bit of VGC and you'll understand. Oh, I see. Evan T. Robert, thank you guys for the follows. Welcome in. Chansey is beta my existence in competitive. Oh no. Take 2 steps, Zubat. Take another step, Zubat. Wait, that's so real though. Wait, okay, never mind. I understand why you feel that's annoying. Never mind, I get it now. I fucking hate Magnezone. Oh my god. Ooh, I don't know. I don't think there's a Pokemon I necessarily hate. Maybe I'm lying and I just cannot think of it. But I don't know. I guess this is 12 most annoying Pokemon according to M&J TV.
Pokemon are so annoying. Well, some of them are. These are 12 of the most annoying Pokemon to deal with when playing through a Pokemon game.
Oh, Lord.
This list is in no particular order, except for the very last one, which is definitely the most annoying. Those of you younger viewers who've only played newer Pokemon games like Sword and Shield or Scarlet and Violet probably don't find wild Pokemon very annoying. What's the big deal? Just go around them. But those of you closer to my age, with sage wisdom of years gone by, likely recall the dark places.
When all grass meant you could run into a wild Pokemon.
And the wet places. Caves
Wet?
and bodies of water.
I am offended. I am offended.
I am talking about cave and surf Pokemon. Most entries will be broader categories like this, but I'll provide specific examples. Unlike dry outdoor routes, every tile of caves or water is a potential encounter spot, so you are constantly being mobbed by wild battles you don't care to participate in. Zubat, Geodude, Tentacool, and Wingull have earned places in the annoying Pokemon Hall of Fame because you're trying to just get somewhere, then you hear the Pokemon cry, you run away, take 3 more steps, it's so-
You guys remember buying a ton of Max Repels so you can avoid this from happening? Because I definitely did that.
irritating. Repels, of course, solve this problem, assuming you have high enough level Pokemon, but early to mid-game, you may not be able to afford them. And then when they run out, you have to stop what you're doing and go into your bag and use another, assuming you're playing before they added the Repel Run Out, would you like to use another feature? Once the games went 3D, they seemed to scale back the frequency of random cave and water encounters, at least from my own impression.
enough.
And of course, now Pokemon games mostly don't have random encounters at all. But if you go back to 2D, pack repels. That's not to say the newest Pokemon games are completely free from annoying wild Pokemon.
You
though.
had to run
sure,
away.
most of the time, if you don't want to battle
They still started, instead of just running into them, they just chase you around the map.
wild Pokemon, you don't have to. But Scarlet and Violet have one glaring exception. Or should I say, vaulting exception. That being Veluza. Originally, this entry was going to be wild Pokemon that chase you, like Sneasel or Sharpedo in Scarlet and Violet. But Veluza is so much worse that it had to have this entry to itself. This stupid fish is outrageously aggressive
Look how
and
fast he is!
If it sees you, it gives chase at blinding speeds, forcing you to dodge not only it, but the crowds of other Pokemon in the water. And then if it does catch you, which it likely will, you're pretty much forced to knock it out. That's because in Scarlet and Violet,
Wait, that's
running from
so
a Pokemon
funny.
does not make it disappear. So if you flee from the Veluza, it'll simply start chasing you again. And the final reason Veluza is worse than other chasing Pokemon is because of where it is. It's all over the west coast of Paldea, but the primary place it ruins your day is Casaroya Lake, the aquatic lag
the
tree
big
thicket.
lake!
I never thought of a good lag pun name like I did for the thicket, but if you have one, let me
The
know
what?
in the comments. Casaroya Lake, to this
The thicket? Huh?
day runs infuriatingly slower than other parts of the map. So when a Veluza catches you, the whole process of killing it and leveling up your team becomes even more annoying because it takes more time than it should. If you value your sanity, pretend you're in
Lag
Jaws
late.
and
I will tell you when I... Oh my god, please. Chat, don't hate me for this. Don't hate me. The first thing I did when I got my Switch 2 was loaded my Scarlet Violet file. And I went to this lake because my friends were like, Poseidon, please go to the lake and tell us if it lags. And it was like crystal clear. I did not have an ounce of lag in that lake. So it's not an issue in Switch 2, but yeah. You don't need a Switch 2 to play the game though.
stay out of the water. It's not just Pokemon that won't leave you alone that can be annoying,
Look at the
though.
happy
Oddly,
face.
the opposite can also be a pain. Pokemon that flee are not very fun to try to catch. There are 3 main examples of this that I'm gonna cover. The first is Abra. In most games, Wild Abra only—
That's everybody's favorite Pokemon.
No teleport, so if you don't catch it on the first turn, throwing a Pokeball while it's at full health, it will teleport and be gone forever. Okay, yes, there are ways to stop it, like putting it to sleep, but that's still risky, and you may not have the resources to do that. Most of the time you're catching an Abra, you have 2 or fewer gym badges. The next example is roaming legendaries. There have been many over the years, and because they flee at the end of the first turn, in general, the mechanics have changed, so there have been times where they've fled sooner. They become the de facto use your Master Ball Pokemon. It's kind of annoying, but it's way worse in games that have multiple roaming legends, like Platinum, which has 5. You can—
I hated like whenever I had like Cresselia pop up and I'm like, yippee, Cresselia! And then it would just leave. I'm like, I just want to catch you. Why are you leaving me?
can only throw your Master Ball at one of them. This forces you to chase the other Pokemon all over the region and try to catch them with specific strategies to prevent them from fleeing. It's a huge pain. The final example of fleeing Pokemon is in Legends Arceus. Arceus. If there's a Pokemon you want to catch, let's say a shiny—
I have not played this game very much, and I'm honestly thinking about, like, I'm not even that far in the game, like, at all. I've thought about resetting my game file and playing it on stream, but I feel like I have too many games I'm playing on stream now. But, I don't know. I've heard this is a really, really good game.
You have a pretty good chance of doing that if the Pokemon is aggressive or neutral. You can do so out of battle, even when it notices you, but if that goes poorly, you can enter battle and try to catch it more traditionally. But some Pokemon run away when spotted, vaporizing into a puff of smoke if they get too far away. Even if you enter battle with them, they can run away and fully disappear. This is super annoying when trying to catch the Pokemon in general, but can be devastating if it's a shiny. I am less scared of trying to catch a shiny alpha than I am of a shiny tiny little baby. So, pro tip, if you hear the shiny noise, immediately save your game. It might respawn if you fail it. And speaking of that, I really miss that noise. My first shiny in Legends Arceus was a Carnivine that I only found because I heard the noise when flying overhead. It was so exciting, and I would have carried on and missed it otherwise. That noise has helped me find several shinies that I otherwise would not have noticed.
I'm pretty sure, please correct me if I'm wrong, chat, is PLA the only game that has like the little ding ding ding, like when there's a shiny? I really wish it carried on in other games like Scarlet and Violet. I would have loved if— I'm just so scared. Like when you're running around like little wild areas trying to catch stuff, but some Pokemon are so freaking tiny that you can't really tell whether or not it's shiny. Like that to me is like scary. I don't know.
And then they removed it. In Scarlet and Violet, wild shiny Pokemon just look different. They do not sparkle nor make a noise when they appear. This sucks. So I am naming shiny Pokemon in Scarlet and Violet as the next annoying Pokemon on this list. If you haven't shiny hunted in these games—
any shiny Pokemon is just annoying.
Let me walk you through why it's so annoying. Because there is no audible marker, you are forced to stare at the screen non-stop, keeping your camera on a swivel and giving yourself an eye strain headache. You can't run too fast or you'll breeze right past one. If the shiny is a very different color, you might be fine, but if it looks really similar to the normal color, like Slowpoke or Paldean Tauros, you have to closely inspect every one. You can use auto battles, sure, they won't kill a shiny, so you can clear out the normal ones, but that's still an extra step. This all makes the process a lot more stressful and less fun than it was in Legends. Now, I know there are some explanations out there for why they removed the sound. Something about, like, it has to do with the way Pokemon spawn, like there's too many and they despawn too quick, so you'd hear the noise and then the Pokemon despawns before you can see it. Something like that. But I don't care. Spawn the Pokemon better. It worked in Legends Arceus. Why didn't you just do do it the same in Scarlet and Violet. I do want to give a kudos to those of you who do shiny hunt regularly because I simply do not have the patience for it.
I have the patience. Do not, chat, underestimate my patience when it comes to shiny hunting.
Right. Especially in a game where I can't even look at a YouTube video on my other monitor. And if this video's on your other monitor right now, or maybe a TV in the background, hey, look at me. Hello, you, hey, hi. I don't have anything to say. Just wanted more attention. The last few entries have focused on wild Pokemon, so let's shift gears to trainer Pokemon. Years ago, I coined the phrase, if it's not 100% accurate, it's 50% accurate, to express my dismay toward Pokemon moves that had any chance to miss. Few things feel worse than doing nothing on your turn, so I am using the 100% accurate move almost every time. So when the enemy Pokemon makes it so none of my moves are 100% accurate, I want to pull my hair out. Pokemon have two ways of lowering their chances of being hit: boosting their evasion or lowering the opponent's accuracy. If your Pokemon has its accuracy lowered, switching out just clears that problem. But if the enemy Pokemon boosts its evasion with moves like Double Team or Minimize, or an ability like Sand Veil, you're likely stuck with it, thus making this entry evasiveness boosting Pokemon. Now, there are ways around this infuriating strategy. You're just not likely to have them in most playthroughs. The first is a forced switch move like Roar, Whirlwind, or Dragon Tail. Today, Roar and Whirlwind bypass accuracy checks to always hit, but in Gen 5 and earlier, they could still miss just like any other move, and thus are affected by Double Team. Dragon Tail has always been able to miss, and in fact, is only 90% accurate, and thus 50% accurate. But even ignoring their accuracy problem, who uses these? Like, Dragon Tail I get, it does damage, but like, I've never had Roar or Whirlwind on a playthrough Pokemon. The second strategy is using an attack that never misses, like Aerial Ace or Shockwave. There is a decent chance you have one of these in your party at some point, but it's far from guaranteed. You're also less likely to have one later in the game, since these moves are not very powerful and are likely to be replaced by stronger ones. Evasiveness boosting is so annoying because it takes strategy out of the battle and turns it just into a stupid luck crapshoot. There are 3 infamous boss battle examples of this that I have experienced a lot of pain with and lost to as an adult. The first is Juan's Kingdra in Emerald. It's already tough to kill since it's only weak to Dragon, no Fairy yet. So if it gets off a couple double teams, you may never hit it enough times to win. The second is Candace's Frostlass in Platinum. Not only does it have Double Team, but it has the ability Snow Cloak, which boosts evasion in the permanent hail that her Abomasnow likely set up before. If Frostlass gets up just one Double Team in the hail, a 100% accurate move goes down to 60%. It's an absolute nightmare. And this last example is from a fan game, but such a big deal that I had to mention it. We can't forget when Dr. Fuse lost to Koga's minimizing Chinook in Infinite Fusion. A battle so mentally taxing that when he finally won, take that, you worthless pile of garbage! Should probably take a break for the day. Evasion can take a battle past the barrier of annoying and into difficult territory, though. So let's discuss something that really is just annoying. Grinding your team before the Pokemon League. It's never been fun. In most games when doing this, the Victory Road is the go-to place. It has the highest level wild Pokemon after all. Grinding here is never particularly enjoyable, but it's generally straightforward, especially for your grass or water types, since they can easily blast through all the rock and ground types found in the cave. Well, they used to be able to. I'll never forget trying to grind my team up to battle the league in my first playthrough of Pokemon White and discovering the Boldors, what should have been easy Pokemon to blast through, all required 2 turns to KO thanks to Sturdy. This annoyed me so much that Sturdy
favorite ability.
Pokemon from Gen 5 onward are an entry on this list. In the past, Sturdy
Any
was
Pokemon
completely
was
useless. It made the Pokemon immune to the very small group of one-hit KO moves: Fissure, Horn Drill, Sheer Cold, and Guillotine. But in Gen 5, they buffed it, so it still does what it used to do, but also functions like a built-in Focus Sash. If the Pokemon would be knocked out from full health in one hit, even by a regular move, it instead lives with 1 HP. Look, I understand Sturdy needed a boof. A boof.
A boof?
Look, I understand that Sturdy needed a buff. It was genuinely terrible before, but this buff has personally annoyed me. Now, so many Victory Road Pokemon like Graveler, Onix, Lairon, and Boldore now require 2 hits to KO, when previously 1 Surf would do the trick. It's not changing the fate of the battle, it's just doubling the time it takes. Sturdy Pokemon also become a pain in boss battles too. Marshall's Sock or Olivia's Probopass come to mind as particularly annoying. You could argue this is more difficult than annoying, but considering these Elite Four members and their full restores, you could end up having to land a hit strong enough to one-shot like 4 times to actually beat the Pokemon.
Amazing.
No Sturdy, and they're not so darn annoying. Sturdy's a more modern annoyance, so let's go back and cover one that's old. I won't spend too much time on this since I discussed it in my 12 broken battle mechanics that I'm glad are dead video, but this one is just so annoying that I have to discuss it again. Binding moves like Whirlpool or Wrap damage the target, then trap them for a few turns, dealing recurring damage. The duration and damage per turn have changed over the years, but that's not important for this. What is important is that today, bound Pokemon can still move. But in Gen 1, both the user and the target are forced to sit there for several turns while the attack plays out. You're just watching, like 5
Amazing.
turns happen and you can't do anything. This
Amazing.
makes any Pokemon with a binding move in Gen 1 a nightmare to fight. I have played through Gen 1 a single time. In a particular battle with a Wrap-using Bellsprout. I originally wrote Rapping Bellsprout, but that is not what it was doing. Scarred me so badly that I still shudder when I think about it to this day. It took like 10 times longer than any battle should. Thank Arceus they fixed that quickly in Gen 2. Speaking of being trapped in battle, there are other ways that can happen. You can use moves like Block or Mean Look, and of course there are abilities that do this too. Magnet Pull traps Steel types, and Shadow Tag traps all Pokemon, except Ghost types, which have been immune to trapping since Gen 6. Using these to your advantage could help you catch roaming Pokemon like I mentioned earlier, but they're super annoying when turned against you. You could of course be Perish trapped by Wolfie VGC, but in normal playthrough gameplay, it's far and away the most common and most annoying when it's just a random wild Pokemon. You're on your merry way, running from any wild Pokemon in your path, until suddenly, you cannot run. This entry is not about the trapping methods I've already mentioned though. The moves give you a chance to run first, Magnet Pull only works on Steel types, and very few wild Pokemon have Shadow Tag. I'm not covering these to instead focus on the most common occurrence of this, Arena Trap Pokemon. Diglett, Dugtrio, and Trapinch all have Arena Trap, which traps all Pokemon that are not floating, or Ghost types after Gen 6 as mentioned earlier. It's only 3 Pokemon that have this ability, but they are far more common than the other trapping situations, appearing in many places across many games. Trying to get through Diglett's cave or the Hoenn Desert can be so irritating, since if a single Diglett or Trapinch shows up that has Arena Trap, you're likely forced to deal with it. You cannot lead with your electric type, because if it doesn't have a wide move pool and it gets trapped, you may not even be able to damage the Diglett. I don't want to pretend like these burrowing Pokemon are the only annoying trapping ones though. There are 2 specific Pokemon that deserve their own entry. They're nowhere near as common in the wild, in fact being quite rare, but when you encounter them, they can be far more damaging. Wynot and Wobbuffet. They have Shadow Tag, which traps you into the battle, as I've already mentioned, and that of course is annoying on its own, But then, because of their movesets, you are now stuck in a gambling with your life mode. Will they use Safeguard and do nothing? Or will they use Counter or Mirror Coat, which could do nothing if you pick the right type of move, or could obliterate your Pokemon if you fail to knock the Wobbuffet out? Or will they use Destiny Bond, killing your Pokemon no matter what if you kill the punching bag? Every turn could be completely safe or the end of your Pokemon, which makes them so horrible to deal with in Randomizer Nuzlocke. What? Why did you speak? How did it?
Oh my god.
My happiness! No!
Rest in
Another
peace.
specific Pokemon earned its place on this list long ago, because dealing with it in just one game made it one of my least favorite Pokemon of all time. And I'm not talking about Miltank.
Oh, okay, I was about to say. Is it the damn Miltank?
This Miltank is just brutally difficult. This Pokemon is more of a nuisance, a constantly reappearing one. That Pokemon is Watchog in Unova. The first Watchog you encounter in Black and White is Lenora's. Hypnosis can completely lose you the battle if it lands, and it can still do a ton of damage with Retaliate too. This battle made me start to dislike Watchog, but it was after this battle when it really drove me nuts. Watchog's Gen 5 level up moveset has Hypnosis, Confuse Ray, and Super Fang all in succession. So many Watchog you fight will have all three of these extremely annoying moves. Not only could you go to sleep, but you'll get confused while you sleep. So you wake up, hurt yourself, then get put back to sleep. And then on top of that, even if you have a super defensive rock or steel type, its HP gets halved with one Super Fang, forcing you to use potions after almost every Watchog fight. You're never gonna lose to it, but fighting it is just so grating. And you're gonna fight it a lot because Plasma Grunts love this thing.
They love
14 Grunts
Watchog.
have it before the league. You see this stupid thing so many times, and every time it's a pain. A lot fewer Grunts have it in Black 2 and White 2, and it's barely been in any other games since. But in Black and White, do not go through those games without a good fighting type, because otherwise, Watchog is gonna ruin your day. This final entry before the most annoying of all focuses not on wild Pokemon or Pokemon you battle against, it's trainer Pokemon you battle with. Let's see if you're familiar. Does this image trigger any kind of emotion in you? Annoyance, irritation, violent malice? If just seeing this pisses you off, then you know this entry is NPC raid partners.
I hate those guys.
But mostly Martin Solrock. This mostly applies to Sword and Shield. Raids are in Scarlet and Violet, but in my experience, I don't notice bad raid partners as much since everyone is moving at once. But in Sword and Shield, since you all take turns, you can see exactly what your partners are doing. Some are solid, but others are just too weak. Pikachu, Magikarp, and Togepi mostly stink. Sure, they might help, but they die so easily once they use up their focus sashes. So they will often lose you the raid even if your Pokemon stay healthy. It is insane that they let them be partner Pokemon in higher star raids. But Martin's Solrock is on another level of annoying. All these two do is cosmic power, cosmic power, cosmic power, boosting defenses, never helping defeat the boss. If they use a damaging attack, it makes international headlines. I think they probably intentionally made raid NPCs kinda bad to encourage you to play with other people, but sometimes I don't want to deal with that. Especially if I'm playing the game years after it was the most recent one. So I'm trying to avoid one hassle, and you stick me with another.
No.
An old man and his stupid rock. And now for the final entry, the most annoying kind of Pokemon in my experience. Before I cover it though, if you've watched this far, consider subscribing to the channel. It seems you don't find me annoying. I hope. Trying to catch legendary Pokemon is always generally annoying. The chances are just so low for most of them, and thus much of it comes down to luck. But there are things that can make it
You know
worse.
what? That's
I already
fair.
discussed roaming legendaries, but there's another category. Imagine you spend time whittling down a legend's health, maybe all the way to 1 HP using False Swipe. Maybe the legend has good defenses, so it takes quite a while. You're finally ready to just huck Pokeballs until you succeed, and then the legendary heals itself back up. Legends that heal are by far the most annoying Pokemon to deal with. Here are 3 specific examples, each getting progressively worse. In Gen 3, all 3 members of the Weather Trio will know Rest if fought at level 70. So that's Groudon and Kyogre in Post-Game Emerald and every Rayquaza fight. This fully heals them and sure, puts them to sleep, but it's only a brief nap of 2 turns. Now you might be thinking, oh, just stall out
taking a
Rest's
little
PP.
nap.
It only has 5. And you're right, you could stall out its PP, but it does not have 5. It does today, but until Scarlet and Violet, Rest had 10 PP. So it's gonna take you a while to do that. The next example is Mewtwo in Gens 1 and 3, plus Lugia and Ho-Oh in Gen 2. They all infuriatingly know Recover, healing up half of their health immediately. Like Rest, you can stall the PP, but again, Recover only has 5 in Gen 9. It had 10 for a while, but in Gens 1 to 3, when these battles occur, it had 20! 20! It would take ages to stall that out, because it's 20 turns, but it's not using Recover every time. These 2 examples are both super annoying, but in theory, you can stall out the healing move's PP, maybe by using Spite, so it may take a while, but you can do it. But this final example, by far the worst type of legendary healing, is the kind that never ends. Kyogre in Alpha Sapphire, Palkia in Shining Pearl, and Tapu Fini in the Alola games all know Aqua Ring. With just one use of the move, they begin to regain 1/16 of their max HP every turn for the rest of the battle. They get harder to catch at the end of every turn. You cannot throw a Pokeball when it has 1 HP unless you do so before the first use of Aqua Ring. Sure, you can use Heal Block, but that only lasts 5 turns. And if you mess up once, Aqua Ring is getting set up. Side note, because I know someone's gonna mention it, Xerneas does have Ingrain when trying to catch it in Sword and Shield, but that's in Dynamax Adventures. So it's affecting the battle when trying to defeat it, but it is not affecting the chance to catch. I chose to make Healing Legends the top spot on this list because the first time I encountered an Aqua Ring Legendary, Tapu Fini in Pokemon Sun, this is how the battle ended.
You are terrible, and I am going to now use my Master Ball on you because this is the most annoying battle I've ever had.
And there you have it. Can't get more annoying than the most annoying battle I've ever had. Thanks so much for watching, and if you enjoyed, check out my video that I mentioned, 12 broken battle mechanics that I'm glad are dead. There's some really insane stuff in there, and it's absolutely for the best that they are not in the game anymore. Pokemon.
Ooh, I remember my Sun and Moon. I got lucky and I got lucky and I did end up catching the Fini, but it did take a while. The Master Ball is the I give up trying to engage with this. I reclaim the Fini later with Imprisoned Aqua Ring Smeagol and a Beast Ball. That face. This is the face of somebody who has really been through it. He really, really hates certain Pokemon. Oh, I kind of miss Sun and Moon. I kind of miss it. I never played Ultra Sun and Moon. I never really, I remember, I played it, and then it was like the same game, and I was kind of sitting there just like, what is this? What this is? I thought this was like a sequel. Yeah, Ultra Sun and Moon is just literally the same, but just like a tiny bit harder. In my opinion, it wasn't even that much harder, so. Being a Pokemon master is suffering sometimes. Alright, chat, I'm gonna go get some water. By water, I mean I'm gonna get some gamer subs because I'm getting a tiny bit eepy, but it's only like 5:36 and I don't want to be eepy. So I will be right back. Let me where's my BRB? There we go. Okay. BRB, I'll be right back. Give me just like a few minutes. I will put on some wonderful, wonderful music while I'm gone. I'm back. I went to go make some gamer subs and I peed. Why is Spotify so loud? Hi, back, I'm front. What? Lovely, thank you so much for the follow. Also, Malia, Sleeving, Manta, thank you guys for the follow. Sorry. I did not take a look until now. Welcome back. Thank you. Welcome, friend. We'll react to one more video and call it for today. Let's see. Maybe we can do a Wolfie video. We can do a Wolfie video. Something not too long though. I like Wolfie though. He's super cool. I reacted to this one. I really thoroughly enjoyed this one. I was wrong about the new Pokemon type. What is the best not fully evolved Pokemon? What is the best ice type Pokemon? I love these thumbnails. I want to know who does his thumbnails. I want to know. All right, I guess we're gonna do. Let's do I was wrong about the new Pokemon type.
A year ago, I made a video titled
Wolfie VGC. I was wrong about the new. What is the new? Oh, Stellar Pokemon. Okay, it was just right there. It was right there. Mayaka, thank you so much for the follow.
A year ago, I made a video titled Why Pokemon's Newest Type is a Total Failure. And now, 1 year later, you're here watching a video calling the newest type a complete success. But here's the thing, Pokemon didn't release a new type in between these two videos. I'm actually talking about the exact same type, the Stellar type. Stellar has gone from a colorfully animated afterthought to a real presence in the competitive scene. In fact, I've been known to dabble in these most extravagant of hats myself. So what happened? Did Game Freak see my video, get mad about how right I was, and buff the Stellar Terra? Did they release a new DLC with better Stellar type Pokemon? Or maybe did they shower some love on the Pokemon who created the phenomenon? You know the one I'm talking about. In all three cases though, the answer is the same.
Nope. Right?
Here's the thing. Absolutely nothing changed about the Stellar type except for the way that people are using it. But to understand how they're using it, we have to talk about what it does first. So let's quickly review just what dipping into the Stellar stash does for your Pokemon. First of all, calling Stellar a type is a little bit of an exaggeration in and of itself, but don't blame me, Pokemon themselves announced it as the 19th type. The truth is though, Stellar is more of a modifier than anything else.
Man, actually, I wish we got the Stellar type in TCG. It would have been so cool to have like a little like rainbow-ish energy. I know rainbow energy and luminous energy exist, but come on, give us like another new basic energy type. Or better yet, bring back fairy types.
Way for Pokemon to naturally be Stellar type. And there aren't even any Stellar type moves, again under normal circumstances. Despite the size of the crown, you could actually argue that Stellar changes less about a Pokemon than normal terrestrialization. Normally, when a Pokemon terrestrializes, it loses its existing types and gets fully replaced by its Terra type. But while regular Terra types can lead to combos like an electric Cresselia levitating over any ground moves, or a fire type Gastrodon slurping up water moves with Storm Drain, the Stellar type changes the same amount of things about a Pokemon's defenses as the area of Paldea that it comes from, 0. A Pokemon who's terrestrialized to become the Stellar type shares the exact same weaknesses and resistances as its base form, outside of one notable exception. No points for guessing who, we'll get there. Instead, Stellar is a Terra type that you only use for offense. It's here where things start to get a little bit complicated. Let's take a look at regular terrestrialization first. Last time I did this video, I used Terrafire Hydreigon as an example, but we're in a different format now, so I need a new, stronger, candlestick-wearing dragon. How about Koraidon? No particular reason for choosing it, just off the top of my head. Now, when Koraidon terrestrializes to a Fire-type Pokemon, its Fire-type moves, such as Flare Blitz, get a 50% damage boost, the same amount of boost that a Pokemon normally gets from using a move that's the same as one of its types. We call this boost Stab, or same type attack bonus. If a Pokemon terastallizes to a type that it already had that was already getting this Stab boost, so in Koraidon's case that would be Dragon or Fighting, that 50% boost instead becomes a 100% boost. Okay, but what happens with the Stellar Terra? Well, Stellar gives a boost to every type of move, but only once. So, in our example, a Stellar Koraidon would get a huge 100% damage boost on both of its stabs, but only once for a fighting move like Close Combat, and once for a dragon move like Dragon Claw, I guess, Scale Shot, Spike Blast? You can probably tell that Koraidon doesn't use the Stellar Terra very often. One of the reasons for that comes from how Stellar interacts with types that the Pokemon doesn't already possess. Instead of the normal 50% boost that you get from terastallizing to a type, Terra Stellar grants a measly 20% damage boost if it's a type that you didn't already have. That's the same amount that you get for holding on to one of Arceus's unused outfits that it threw out, by the way. It's better than nothing, but the alternative isn't nothing. For most Pokemon, the defensive potential afforded by terastallizing to a different type is way too much to pass up, and many attackers would often rather have the option to permanently boost one type of move rather than get a boost on every type of move, but only once per type. Earlier, I said that there were no Stellar type moves under normal circumstances, by which I mean there are no moves that start out as Stellar type, but there are some moves that can become Stellar. The only Stellar move that most Pokemon in the game can use is Stellar Terra Terra Blast. But so far, we've mostly talked about Stellar defensively. So what types does a Stellar type move hit for super effective damage, and which types resist it? Well, that question's a little bit more complicated than you might think. Stellar moves have no resistances, and they don't hit anything super effectively, except for opposing Pokemon who are terastallized. When a Pokemon terastallizes to the Stellar type, in addition to getting a power boost in all of their moves and turning Terra Blast,
it does sound like a normal type where it's like neutral.
To a Stellar type attack, Terra Blast also jumps from 80 to 100 base power and gains the drawback of lowering your attacking stats by one stage after it hits something. Once again, not the most attractive option. Thankfully, if you were looking for an attractive option, we've got you covered there too, thanks to our sponsor, Holzkern. If you're looking to shine bright like a terastallized Pokemon with some stellar accessories, look no further. Holzkern's watches and jewelry boost the power of any outfit, no matter who you are. And unlike the Stellar Terra, it's not even limited to just the first time you wear them.
Will it attract what will they attract the non-stinky TCG players to me? Because for some reason I attract all the stinky TCG players.
Their unique, high-quality products are made from natural materials and are sure to make you sparkle in any setting. And they'll continue to shine with their 2-year guarantee. Those of you who watch the channel for a while know that Holzkern is one of our longest-running sponsors, and that's because I genuinely love their products. I've worn a Holzkern watch every single day for what feels like most of the past 2 years, maybe even longer at this point. Sense of time is all messed up. Don't know why. I even have a couple Holzkern watches that I only break out as like my fancy watches to wear for, you know, my fancier outfits. Their jewelry is awesome too. I was actually wearing it on stream in Toronto. This is a Holzkern piece, if you can even believe it. I've also used Holzkern products to make great gifts for my friends and family. And you too can dazzle like a Terra Stellar Diancie with your very own Holzkern products without having to pay the price of what must be a very expensive Diamond Storm. Use code WOLFIE for 15% off across the entire website with free express worldwide shipping that typically arrives within 2 to 5 business days. These speeds would even make Dragapult jealous. Once again, that's code WOLFIE for 15% off. Thanks again to Holzkern for sponsoring this video. And that's pretty much everything you need to know about Stellar for most Pokemon, but not for all of them. There is one Pokemon who truly becomes the Stellar type. It's time to talk about that very special Pokemon that I hinted at earlier. Ready to guess? Like I said, it's not very hard. That's right, it's Incineroar!
What?
Yeah, thought you knew what was up, huh? Goes to show you when you get too comfortable around here. Never let your guard down. Blatant misdirection aside, Terapagos is, of course, the only Pokemon who reacts differently to Stellar Terastallization. Aside from its form made exclusively to sell plushies and get you to watch the anime, Terapagos has 2 battle-relevant forms. When it enters the field, it automatically assumes the Terastal form, making it a normal type that has okay stats and an ability that makes all moves not very effective, but only while while Terrapagos is at full health. But when it terastallizes, and it can only terastallize to the stellar type, it enters its, well, stellar form, gaining massive amounts of bulk and power, activating its new ability, Terraform Zero, which removes all weather and terrain from the battlefield, and transforming its signature move, Terrastar Storm, from a normal move into a stellar type move that has no drawback, high base power, no resistances, and hits both of your opponent's Pokemon. That just about sums up what the stellar type does, in case you needed a reminder. So why exactly did I think that it was bad before? Well, to be fair to me, I never said that Terrapagos was bad. And this is before the Pokemon was even tournament legal. What I said was, I thought it might be pretty good. In theory, it sounds extremely powerful. A contender in the Regulation G format, where restricted legendary Pokemon are allowed, maybe sometimes a tournament winner, but not the top turtle. And that's pretty much what happened. Terrapagos has ridden the ebbs and flows of the format, but it's pretty much always been one of the top 5 or so restricted Pokemon. And despite never really rising to the top, it's performed well across a number of tournaments. Terra Stellar is a huge part of its game plan. Honestly, it's kind of its whole game plan, which makes sense for a Pokemon designed around the mechanic. Boost your stats, terastallize in the most dramatic fashion possible, launch the attack that's responsible for the whole Terra phenomenon in the first place, profit. However, that reliance on the mechanic is also Terrapagos' biggest weakness. It is very predictable, and reliance on the mechanic is also Terrapagos' biggest weakness. It is very predictable.
What is the context of that? Why did he get yeeted across the sky?
And it needs to terastallize in order to be useful. And it doesn't have the luxury of using terastallization to turn off its weaknesses like many of the other restricted legendary Pokemon. Scarlet and Violet aren't over yet, so there's a chance that somewhere down the line, Terrapagos will become more popular, maybe in a rule set that allows more than one restricted legendary Pokemon. But for now, it's pretty widely agreed upon as about the 5th best restricted legendary Pokemon.
Fair enough.
Terrapagos is a cool Pokemon, but what I really want to talk about in this video are the regular, degular, non-special turtles who use the stellar type well. Now, when I made that first video, it's not like absolutely no one was using the stellar Terra. It was just really, really close to absolutely nobody. Wait, what's going on? It almost looks like some of you are stellar. Oh, that must be my subscribers. Hey everybody. Oh, some of you are just regular.
What is that risk? The unfortunate thing is, I'm sure if somebody used that as like a pickup line towards me, it might have worked.
Stellar 2, huh? That's rough. Well, I guess there's nothing wrong with that, but if you want to become Stellar 2, all it takes is one click. And hey, Pokemon's making some pretty big moves over the next couple of years, so you'll probably want to be subscribed anyway, so you can keep abreast of them. Didn't mean to use the word abreast there, but I think it actually works, but it feels kind of weird. We already discussed the drawbacks of Stellar Terra a decent amount, but let's talk about the specific circumstances that meant a scant few Pokemon could actually use it well. In my original video, I listed 3 parameters to identify whether or not a Pokemon wants to use the Stellar Terra. First, no Pokemon that would want a defensive Terra will ever want to use Stellar Terra, since it doesn't change defensive relationships. Somewhat self-explanatory. Second, Pokemon who aren't going to be in the battle for a long time have more of a reason to use it. Terra Stellar's boosts are one time only. Even if you switch out and come back in, once you've used it, the boost for that type is gone. A Pokemon attacking for 3 or 4 turns in a row will normally see more value from a regular Terra type, even an offensive one. To make Stellar work, we want fast and frail heavy hitters. Finally, Pokemon who can take advantage of multiple types of strong moves, especially those with 2 types to take advantage of 2 stab boosts, are possible good candidates for the Stellar Terra. With these criteria identified, we could put out a perfect ad for the ideal Stellar candidate. Personal, new Terra type searching for its match. Stellar Stranger seeks a dual type, focus sash wielding attacker big on damage. Bulk not required. With all that in mind, I talked about 3 Pokemon who were sometimes using Stellar: Chenpao, Urshifu Dark, and Fluttermane. All of these Pokemon fit the criteria that we'd crafted perfectly, but it wasn't a match made in heaven. Even with all these Pokemon fitting the profile, Stellar Terra was by no means the go-to choice for any of these Pokemon, and I highlighted different options that I thought were often better. The damage boost provided by Terra simply wasn't worth the trade-off a lot of the time. It felt terrible to not use Terra Ghost on Chenpao, giving up your immunity to fighting moves and to Fake Out, or having to choose between only boosting one of Wicked Blow or Sucker Punch, or Moonblast and Dazzling Gleam. Stellar Terra was usable, but incredibly rare. And that brings us to today, where I've changed my tune completely. I said before that nothing changed with the stellar type, so what did? Simple, the game around it and the people who play it. When the stellar type was introduced, competitive Pokemon was still played in a format without powerful, restricted legendary Pokemon. We hadn't seen hide nor hair of a Terrapagos, let alone a Miraidon or a Calyrex, but the Fluttermanes and Iron Hands of the world were still running amok. There was a bit of innovation with Stellar. We even saw some Urshifu run Terra Blast as a final move, with the idea being that you could still hit Pokemon who Terra'd to resist your moves, then ignore the stat drops because, in case you forgot, Urshifu is a cheater Pokemon who doesn't play by the rules. When the format changed to Regulation G, which allowed for a single restricted legendary Pokemon, Stellar Terra saw a bit more use right from the start. Part of that was Terrapagos finally becoming legal, of course, but part of it was also people wanting to beat Terrapagos as well. One Pokemon in particular stood out as prime stellar material, Urshifu Rapid Strike. In the previous format, many Urshifu chose to run the Choice Scarf or Mystic Water items. This made Terra Water by far the most popular choice on Urshifu, because not only did it give its water type moves a damage boost, but it also turned off some of its weaknesses, most notably to fairy type attacks. But in the new format of Regulation G, due to the Pokemon being so much stronger, Focus Sash Urshifu became the dominant set. And Water Urshifu rose to prominence over its edgelord brethren because in addition to hitting Terrapagos, it could easily tank Calyrex Ice's Glacial Lance, it could turn Kyogre's Rain against it, and it could tear through Incineroar without worrying about Intimidate. Now, Terra Water was also used offensively in the past because Surging Strikes is an incredible move, and because Urshifu is naturally so strong, it benefits from an offensive Terra. In past formats, Urshifu often got the chance to use Surging Strikes multiple times in the same battle because it could either knock opponents out before they could KO it, or it could force them to switch before attacking. And Terra Water did see some use in Regulation G as well, but by using Water Terra, Urshifu could not KO Terrapagos in a single hit after it had gone big mode. And of course you could think about Terra Fighting, but Terra Fighting just offers so much less value than Terra Water because Surging Strikes is Urshifu's best move. This seems like a pretty tough position to be in, but there was another option. Terra Stellar, giving Urshifu the general value of boosting its water type moves most of the time, and helping it get the crucial KO against Terrapagos with close combat at the same time. It was this kind of small optimization that led to the advancement of Stellar Terra across the board. Stellar Urshifu became more and more popular. I even ran it both at North American Internationals and at the World Championships last year, despite the fact that I originally was a Stellar hater. And that's where the innovation comes from on the player side of things. See, every generation of Pokemon, even every new format, demands that players keep improving. Personally, I think this is one of the coolest parts of playing Pokemon. The game stands still for nobody. And a big part of what I love about this game personally is that it makes me feel like I never stop growing while I'm playing too. It also means that even after months of playing the same format, players still find small, precise adjustments, and sometimes even major breakthroughs that people had missed. In a game like Pokemon, even the small adjustments are often enough to gain an edge over your opponent. Players identified that while Urshifu might be trading on overall firepower by going Stellar, taking out the turtle was so important that they justified the use of an otherwise weaker option. It's the players, and it's also the specific Pokemon that they had to deal with. And it's the collision of these two things that led to Stellar Starburst when we moved on to the next format.
Would you be interested in playing VGC side? Yes, I absolutely am. I am definitely interested. I have a few VTuber friends that are into VGC. I just have to finish my Scarlet file, which I will do ASAP. By ASAP, I mean within the next month or two, and we'll go straight into the world of VGC.
Regulation H. Regulation H was, in terms of the Pokemon available, a step backwards. It banned all Paradox and Legendary Pokemon from play, bringing the overall power level down by a huge amount. But as I've always said about Pokemon, a smaller Pokedex doesn't mean fewer usable Pokemon. In fact, it often means the opposite. With less literally earth-shaping attacks flying around, the lower power Pokemon can finally crawl out of hiding and enjoy a chance to actually play the game. In Regulation H, that meant old standbys from past regulations like Kingambit and Goldengo returned. But but it also meant Pokemon that had been newly released but crowded out, such as Archaludon and Ursaluna, could make a huge splash. And in this new format, very specific conditions allowed Terrastellar to thrive, and with it, the players who identified its place as a solution to specific problems. We had a new applicant for our singles ad, one who fit all the same criteria that we'd been looking for before, Sneasler. When Sneasler first made its time machine trek over from Hisui, it found itself totally outclassed as a fighting type by, you guessed it, Urshifu. But Urshifu is a legendary, so with the bare band, Sneasler was able to scavenge the remains of the format, quickly becoming one of the top threats, and eventually becoming the most used Pokemon in the game. Just like Urshifu, Fluttermane, and Chien-Pao, it's a fast, frail attacker who wants to use both types of its stab moves. It even has an additional reason to use the Focus Sash item. As if staying alive weren't appealing enough, Sneasler's Unburden ability also allows it to become the fastest thing on the field, bar none, once the Focus Sash has been used.
That is
as we saw before, simply fitting the criteria isn't enough to make Stellar work. You need to find the perfect constellation of damage calculations and use cases to actually make it fit. And luckily for Sneasler, it had its eye on the right place in the sky. As I mentioned, one of the other kings of Regulation H was a Pokemon already familiar with the throne, Kingambit. Now, close combat from Sneasler obviously should obliterate Kingambit, but it only works if Kingambit hasn't already terrestrialized into a dark type. Once it becomes a pure dark type, Sneasler just misses out in the KO unless it has some kind of additional boost, which of course is where Terrastellar comes in. And in addition to knocking Kingambit off its lofty perch, it also helps out against opposing Archaludon and Incineroar. But of course, a calculation on one type of move isn't enough to justify Stellar on its own. If close combat was the only move that wanted to buff, why not just go for Terra Fighting and ensure everyone is pumping out huge damage? Now, you could argue that keeping Poison as a defensive type is actually helpful for Sneasler, but I don't buy it because Sneasler is frail enough already, even without factoring in that it's always lowering its defenses with close combat. So keeping Poison around wouldn't be enough on its own to justify using Stellar over Fighting. No, the real reason for the newest type being used here was that it not only boosted Sneasler's fighting type moves, but its poison ones as well. Kingambit wasn't the only Pokemon that Sneasler was just barely missing out on one-hit KOing. It also came just shy against the starter duo of Rillaboom and Primarina. With Terrastellar, one of the most toxic moves of all time could take them out in one hit. I'm talking about the move that some players believe single-handedly ruined this format, Dire Claw.
What is this? Has a 50% chance of either poisoning, paralyzing, or putting the target to sleep. Wait, that's so funny. You just it can do either or. Oh my god, that's so annoying. Everybody in chat is so mad. Why? Everybody hates this. Everybody hates this move. 100% accuracy. Amazing. And 80 base power. That is hilarious. I would be the person running this.
Dire Claw was already notorious due to its whopping 50% chance of inflicting a status condition, but by running Terrastellar, Sneasler could use it to do huge damage to boot. Stellar Sneasler wasn't used because it was the best type in a vacuum for the Pokemon, but because of the shape of the specific Pokemon that we're seeing play and how much damage they just happen to take from Sneasler's moves. Even still, not every Sneasler ran Stellar. A lot opted for Dark to stay safe against Psychic type moves, and in turn to fire off boosted Throat Chops, the power of which Stellar couldn't hope to match. And Sneasler's stellar success served as the inspiration for several other Pokemon. Kingambit was so prevalent and so bulky that for a while there, Stellar almost looked like a second fighting type. At the most important event of Regulation H, 2 Focus Sash Stellar Annihilapes made it to the quarterfinals. These Annihilapes needed the boost for a slightly different reason, though to the same Kingambit annihilating end. These players didn't want to train their Annihilapes fully in its attack stat because they needed the points elsewhere. Since they ran Final Gambit, Gambit,
Fair.
these Annihilapes wanted some HP investment to ensure that they could surgically remove slower Pokemon. But because they'd taken points out of the attack stat, Close Combat was not picking up the KO against Terra Dark King Gambit, something that Terra Stellar could fix. But with Terra Stellar, Close Combat would pick up a one-hit KO, and also allow Annihilate to consistently KO Goldango with Rage Fist after they'd taken one hit, all the while still allowing them to invest heavily in their HP stat for final Gambit. Stellar was so effective on fighting types that we even saw a rare non-dual type Pokemon use it, Mienshao. While Mienshao doesn't have a secondary stab move to exploit, it does have the useful coverage move of Ice Spinner. Now, without the Stellar Terra, this move could miss out on a 2-hit KO on most Rillaboom in the format, but the one-time 20% boost just barely let it crest that threshold. Fighting types weren't the only beneficiaries though. The lower damage numbers of Regulation H meant that even Pokemon not traditionally thought of as attacking threats could take advantage of Stellar's damage boost. Pelipper was one such example. Now, I've personally never really been a fan of Pelipper, mostly because its stats are just terrible. But even I'll admit that it can put out huge damage with Stellar Terra thanks to 100% accuracy Hurricanes and rain boosted Weather Balls. But arguably the most interesting Stellar type users were those who did it without a Focus Sash. Suddenly, we're editing that personal ad to be a bit more open-minded. After spending a few too many battles taking Stellar boosted close combats to the face, our Caledon decided that it had had enough. It was time to turn the star power back on its foes. Some Stellar Caledon did this because they were using the Sturdy ability, which is effectively just the Focus Sash item in ability form. But some Caledon weren't some Focus Sash character.
We watched the video on FNJTV on the 12 most annoying Pokemon, and Sturdy Pokemon literally had their own freaking slot in the video. Amazing.
Frail little weasel. Instead, they were Pokemon that thrived on survivability thanks to the combination of its good natural bulk, its stamina ability, and the Assault Vest. So, why did it end up using Stellar Terra? Well, for one thing, our Caledon's already got a great natural typing. For another, it's liable to take over games with that typing on its own if it gets enough boosts. And I'm not just talking about the defense boosts that come from stamina. While it is true that our Caledon is incentivized to use both Steel and Dragon type moves, a lot of the time it's going to click a move that's a totally different type first, Electro Shot. Since Electro Shot only takes one turn in the rain, and it boosts special attack before being launched, our Caledon frequently ended up with boost to spare after a few turns. And at that point, it wouldn't matter that the Stellar Terra had already worn off. The initial boost to Electro Shot, however small, does the job along with the one-time stab boost. Again, as with many of the Pokemon that I've mentioned, Stellar was never standard for our Caledon, but it was a niche option that showcased the typing being used in ways that we hadn't considered before. And our Caledon actually isn't the only Dragon type Pokemon that made Stellar work. In fact, I used our Caledon alongside a very different dragon myself, and while I didn't Stellar Terra our Caledon, I did make use of it on Kingdra. And I used these two dragons to win the final tournament of Regulation H. See, I decided that I wanted to use Kingdra, but I had some specific threats that I wanted to get rid of, specifically Jumpluff, Ursaluna, and Annihilate. And if you look at these calcs, those actually don't quite get there, but that's because I didn't include something. The item that I was using that wasn't Focus Sash. See, I know from experience just how strong stacking multiple different multipliers can be. If I didn't have either Life Orb or Terra Stellar, Kingdra would definitely come up short here. I had a Swiss Army Seahorse equipped to take on every situation where I needed it to. Kingdra was especially cool because it also had access to the Weather Ball attack, which was supposed to be used as a water type move most of the time, but since Weather Ball's type changes depending on, well, the weather, it allowed me to get multiple different Stellar type boosts than just Water and Dragon. And this situation actually came up in the finals where I was able to use a Fire type Weather Ball earlier in the battle, and then still have Water type moves boosted later on to try and close it out. And this last example, the one that I used for myself, is a big part of the reason why I changed my tune on Stellar Terra. I can hear what you're saying.
Wow, he's just built different than everyone else.
And now you like it, huh? Well, to that I say, I've actually used it successfully a couple times, okay? First of all. And also, yeah, I'm not perfect. Game Freak, if you want me to test out any other mechanics and tell you if they're working, let me know. But in all seriousness, what I'm really saying is this. When I said that Terra Stellar wasn't all that successful a year ago, I said that it was a niche application only viable on a few Pokemon that was unlikely to see much play outside of these specific situations. And now, it's still a niche application, it's just viable on a few more Pokemon that only sees play in these specific situations. But to be fair to the stellar type, I could apply that same description to just about 90% of all the things in Pokemon, from item choices to moves to specific natures to EV spreads that go down to some of the most ingenious innovations our game has ever seen. Just, I couldn't apply it to Incineroar. That Pokemon's a bit too popular. Terra Stellar may be niche, but I think that's actually a good thing. Trying to build a good team can sometimes feel like trying to draw blood from a stone. How do you extract the most value possible from the most situations while not limiting yourself in others? I've talked a lot about how Stellar succeeded because of specific situations and threats in a format that allowed it to thrive. It's a precarious balance, right? We're saying functionally that it took off because of some pretty specific situations. Like, think about Sneasler, a Pokemon that was formerly irrelevant but now became a top threat just because Pokemon instituted an arbitrary, limited time format that banned all of the legendaries, and it just so happened that it barely doesn't one-shot these other extremely relevant Pokemon that people were using that just so happened to be weak to both of its stab moves, and it was just short by the exact amount of a boost that Terra Stellar provides. Like, what? That is so specific. This is a pretty rickety Rube Goldberg machine, and the last time I made one of those, I just ended up with a bunch of marbles and dominoes all over the floor. You could make the argument that Stellar Terra only became more widespread because of specific conditions that happened within the formats, and actually, I guess I have spent a lot of the video telling you just that. But while it's certainly true that specific conditions let the Stellar Terra take off, it's not the only reason why. Personally, I give a lot of the credit to the team builders. And to be fair, I give it as well to Game Freak for designing such a well-balanced mechanic. I particularly appreciate this because we've been hit with lots of unbalanced mechanics and Pokemon over the years. Things so strong that their power is readily apparent. Not so much with Stellar. Its more reasonable offerings meant that team builders really had to find the perfect situations to use it. And that takes time. When Stellar Terra first released, it was a brand new concept that players had never seen before. So it makes some sense that we didn't figure out the best way to use it right away. But with time...
It takes a little bit. I think also Pokemon TCG can kind of see that too, where there's certain Pokemon that took a little bit of time for it to get it to shine because it just was not like looked into very much, and or like the cards that would go well with it weren't there. I think one of the most recent examples I can think of is Joltik. So at the time of recording, Joltik Box is currently a really, really strong contender for one of the like best decks in format, just because it's so fast and aggressive. And the current state of that deck, it's really, really good. And Joltik came out maybe a few months ago. I don't even remember. Joltik was it's been out for some time. So basically what it does is for one energy, could be lightning. I don't play Joltik Box. It looks for a combination of lightning and grass energy from the deck, and you attach it to one Pokemon. And you play it with Iron Hands, which is a very, very good Pokemon, because if you kill a Pokemon with one of its attacks, it'll take an extra prize card. And both of these Pokemon have been out for a while. It just took a little bit of figuring out that, oh wait, this combination works for people to start playing it. So, yeah. Sorry, I had to butt in there with some TCG stuff. Maractus and Countercatcher body the Joltik Box players. Oh yeah, for sure. Unless they have Prime Catcher, then you just kind of shit and cry.
Trainers innovate, optimize, and push the game beyond its limits. With time, we come to see the potential from those who showed it before us. And with time, I've changed my opinion on Terra Stellar. These days, it is still rare once again, but who can say where the end of Scarlet and Violet will take us? Above all, I'm personally happy that Game Freak introduced a mechanic that seemed to be very weak when it first released, because it took some actual work to figure out just how it could be strong. Thanks for watching. Yeah. If you like this video and you haven't already, you should check out the original Terra Stellar video. I think it could be really interesting to see kind of the differences as this year has passed.
Hey man, it happens. Also, Mayake, Veldum, and Chiro, thank you guys for the follows. Yeah, no, that was a fun video. I don't have too much to say because it's more so like me like taking in information. But it sounds very interesting. VGC, honestly, it sounds a little more scary to me than TCG. Because, like, you kind of know what to expect, from like certain decks, but when there's so many different Pokemon, I'm sure there are like the meta builds, right? But you never know. Somebody might put Stellar on a Kingdra and you're like, holy shit, what the fuck? What is that? As opposed to like seeing a Dragapult, it's very everybody basically has maybe the same 55. So yeah. That was fun. I enjoyed. That will be the last video for the stream because I do have to wrap it up. But I had a lot of fun today, guys. I know today was a gorilla stream. It was not a planned stream. I wasn't planning to hang out today, but I did, and I wanted to vibe. So thank you guys so much for all the follows. Thank you guys for the subs. By the way, I am running a June special. Where if you gift 20 subs or like 20 memberships on YouTube, you will be getting a Pokemon or Poseidon Pokemon card signed by me. Those will ship sometime next month. I'll be having somebody else take care of the shipping for me. But yeah, thank you guys so much for hanging out. So I don't have my schedule out just yet for this week. I will probably have it out either early tomorrow or later tonight. I might actually do it after this stream. But we're gonna, I know tomorrow, I have 2 streams actually. I'm gonna be on Clotho's stream tomorrow. If you guys don't know who Clotho is, she is another talent here at Mythos. She wanted me to react to Love and Deep Space cards with her. I had no idea that they did cards, but it'll be me, her, and Yomi from Sox VTuber Agency. So we're gonna do that tomorrow, and then we're gonna do some Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel with Ulner tomorrow. It's gonna be that stream I meant to do earlier this week, but OBS was not working. So, and I noticed OBS, a lot of VTubers are having issues with OBS recently. I had no idea it was causing this many issues for this many people. So hopefully I haven't had a problem really with it since then. So fingers crossed, knock on wood, that we don't have a problem with it tomorrow. But yeah, that's for sure the next stream. As for next week, or this week, I guess now that it's Sunday. Do you guys consider Monday or Sunday the beginning of the week? I've always considered Sunday the beginning of the week. But I don't know, some people don't consider it. But I have One Piece with Hasher on Tuesday. On Thursday, we're going to be trying out the Poison Ultra V stack on Pocket. And then we're going to do some more Pokemon React video, or just reacting on Friday. It'll be like a free stream day. But yeah, before anybody tells me, because I feel like I've been saying this forever, I do have a day next week. We're going to be reacting to Epic the Musical. Okay, I'm very, very late to the Epic the Musical train. I promise it's there, okay? I promise. I just needed to find the time. The will. But yeah, we're gonna go raid somebody. Let's raid. Let's raid. God, there's so many people I could raid. It's just a matter of choosing who. Let's raid Leah. My piss wife. My pee wife. Funny, I heard about that earlier. Do you know it's so popular? It is actually insanely popular. Epic the Musical is very, very, very popular right now. People are releasing covers all over the place, and everybody asks me, Poseidon, what do you think about Epic the Musical? And I don't even know what to say because I've never listened to it before. So I'm like sitting here like, I have no idea what you're talking about. But all I know is that it is a Greek mythology musical that apparently is amazing. So I promise we are going to sit down one of these days next week to watch it. Shrek the Musical is pretty good too. You know it's a really great musical? SpongeBob the Musical is actually so fucking good. Please go listen to it. It's goofy, but it's also so just catchy and well done. Please go listen to SpongeBob the Musical. I used to be a musical fiend for a while. I think I've fallen off of it recently, but I really, really enjoyed. My favorite musical of all time, however, is Heathers. I love Heathers. Heathers is great. Okay, Let's go raid, Leah. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. And also, if you have not done so yet, please go join my Discord server. That is the best way to know what I'm up to, what's going on. Please go join. Usually you guys get to hear about things first on the Discord server before I post things on other social media. So please go join. We're going to bring back community nights very soon, I promise. Alrighty, y'all. I'm going to go head out. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.